match coming live from Mazzacali Oval with the second place Chapman Valley hosting the 7th position Rovers, and in early games today out here with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirralie War, the member for Geraldton in the Colts. Chapman Valley 11-10-76 defeated Rovers 4-5-29. In the reserves it was Chapman Valley 17-13 115 defeated Rovers 1 behind, and in the women Chapman Valley 12 goals 21 93 points defeated Rovers no score, as the players now are being addressed as part of the round 12 Indigenous round, and a couple of very special guests here for Chapman Valley this afternoon, and a very, very big day for the Naaguja Royals and the Indigenous round. Special guests, Winston Abraham, who is a Noongar heritage born in Naaguja in WA. He was drafted pick 22, went on to have a marvellous career, 99 premiership player with North Melbourne, and a very, very innovative player. And the other special guest today is a Noongar Yamaji heritage born Calabaran man in Byron Pickett. Byron, of course, 2 times premiership player and starred in the Kangaroos flag in 1999, and they're doing the toss of the coin and speaking to the crowd at the moment. And we'll catch up with Byron Pickett and Winston Abraham at half time in our broadcast today on Radio Mama. So looking forward to catching up with both Byron and Winston Abraham, who are guests of the Chapman Valley Footy Club, and also brought to you by the sponsorship of Geraldton Sporting Aboriginal Corporation. A big round of fixtures across the league today, while Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground, the top place Railways, hosting the Forthside Brigades. In early games today, we can tell you that Railways 9-11-65 defeated Brigades 2 goals 4-16. In the reserves, Railways 9-10-64 defeated Brigades 3 goals 4-22. In the women, Brigades 4 goals 10-34 defeated Railways no score. And the final game of the Indigenous round is being played up at Mullawa today, with the home side taking on the 3rd place Towns. And in the Colts, it was a win to Mullawa. Mullawa 17 goals 11 113 defeated Towns 4-10-34. In the reserves, it was Towns 58 defeated Mullawa 36. And of course, there's no Mullawa women's side, so no Mullawa women's game. So the crowd and the players have been addressed. The umpires this afternoon, the GNFL umpires are Brian Baker and Kevin Osmond, who will be controlling the game today. And we're just going to have the toss of the coin in front of the barrel balcony, and the 2 captains, and Tyrone Papertalk, who's playing his 50th game for the Chapman Valley side. I think it's Sean Brennan for the Rovers side, and toss of the coin. And the toss has been won by Tyrone Papertalk. He's decided to kick it to the southern end with Rees at his back, so kicking to the city end of Mazzacali Oval. And as always, I'm joined in commentary on a weekly basis by the world traveller himself, Peter Fiorenza. G'day, Peter.
Yeah, g'day, Glenn. Good to be back here in Geraldton and back in GNFL. Beautiful Midwest, and the sun shining. A wonderful Chapman Valley. Lovely trip out here with Matty Anderson this afternoon to be at this very important round. Of course, as you said, it is in Indigenous round. Glenn, I don't know, this is a question without notice, but Byron Pickett, is he related to Cozzy Pickett?
He would be, I would say, for sure. Well, we ought to ask him at half time. Yeah, I'm sure he is. I'm sure there'll be some...
It's not a really common name, is it?
No, so... we'll certainly ask Byron. Byron's still got family in Mount Magnet.
Yep.
And he's going up there to see them. He's got family in Geraldton. He said he'll catch up with some of them tonight. He's going up to Mount Magnet tomorrow. So he'll catch up with a few people. He'll be back in Geraldton on Tuesday. So, but Winston Abraham, he's up here for the weekend. He goes back to Perth tomorrow. But it's wonderful of those blokes to make themselves available to be guests of the Chapman Valley and Rover footy clubs here at Mazzacali Oval. It's a wonderful gesture on their behalf, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is, and it certainly adds to the day. Big crowd in attendance here as we broadcast from the Great Southern Fields Classic Catchers Truck, and thanks to John Douglas for accommodating us here this afternoon, and players moving into position. Now, this is going to be an interesting game, Glenn. Rovers, I do believe, have got a few youngsters that are blooding today, so they're not looking, so to speak, always looking for a win, but they would have a sort of like goals being set a little bit different to probably Chapman Valley.
Yeah, well, Chapman Valley is gearing up, of course, to try and have another tilt at a grand final. They are in second spot at the moment. They need to keep winning because Towns are putting pressure on them, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Umpire Brian Baker holds the ball aloft. We're underway in this round 12 clash for the Indigenous round of the GNFL. Ball comes out of the centre. Chapman Valley under pressure quickly. Ball spills, goes the way of Rovers, goes the way of Azevedo. Azevedo quickly out of the centre, kicks it up towards half forward. Looking up there for a teammate. In goes Ewan Whitley for Chapman Valley. He's caught in possession, and a free kick will go quickly to Rovers. So Rovers going into attack very quickly with Oliver Campbell, that player. Campbell gets it up towards half forward, picked up by Simpson, goes the way of Moody. Moody looks forward for Walters. Walters goes forward for Chapman Valley. A lot of pressure on the ball carrier, and the Rovers player putting good pressure on there is Jacob Troy. And there'll be a throw up in the opening minute of this first term with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton.
Moments into this, the first quarter, ball going up into the air, knocked down by the Chapman Valley custodian, goes to ground. Rovers player quickly wrapped up, doesn't go too far, and it'll be balled up once again. Broadcasting from the eastern side of the ground, unusual for Glenn and I, a different bit of a vista for us to commentate from, but we can see all areas of the ground, and it's looking pretty good. Chapman Valley do best out of that passage of players to get it to boot, or that player tried to do so. Eventually goes the way now of Farron Parfitt, the veteran for Rovers, tries to give it to his brother Clayton. He can't take the mark. The ball goes to ground. Players dive on top of each other. Clayton is able to recover. Parfitt goes wide now, gives it to a teammate there in Brennan. The captain gets it back to Parfitt. Parfitt down the wing now, looking for support there in the guise of a player who is unable to gather the ball. Chapman Valley defence been put under a lot of pressure early in the first term, but get a little bit away from it now as they go backwards before coming forward across backward a goal, and the halfback. Now the ball is for the Royals, kicked in from a broadcast position. This quarter brought to you by Community Bank Geraldton, going the way of Merigliotto. Gets an inboard now, goes away of Whitley. Whitley in turn to a teammate who quickly puts it onto his boot. Not the best of kicks. Goes to ground, and in comes this fella. I've been impressed with him when I've seen games earlier this year by Sheldon Nally Jr. Kicks it into a host of players, goes away with Brennan now. Rovers getting a lot of kicks early, need to be more decisive as they go forward now. Troy picks it up, sends it into the full forward area. A nice mark is now taken for Rovers about 25 metres out from goal, and the custodian of that has taken the mark, I think. I'll get that to you very soon. As Glenn said or mentioned off air, Rovers wearing the Indigenous Guernseys. We just have to make sure we get the numbers correct, so wearing different numbers today, but having a shot at goal, the Rovers player now. He'll kick toward the northern end on a very severe angle, but it looks pretty good off the boot. Let's see what he can do. It comes down short, comes off hands, taken almost through by that player in Parfitt. He puts it onto his boot, tries to score, but is brought to ground. The ball will be balled up just inside the goal square for the Demons.
Yeah, the Rovers have been very good the way they've started the contest, Peter. They've had a lot more of the ball of Chapman Valley. They're going in very, very hard, putting pressure on the Chapman Valley defence. So the ball is only metres away from the goal line at the northern end, the Northampton end of Mazzucchelli Oval.
To get first blood, then?
Yeah, first score on the Bambi scoreboard this afternoon. And we see Rovers one behind, and the Naaguja Royals are yet to open their account. So Chapman Valley bring the ball in. The defence bring it in with a short pass. Whistle on play. The umpire says you have to go back and kick it out again. So Jaden Thompson will go back and kick the ball in again.
Premiership player with the Royals, Glenn.
Yeah, he was a big part of their win.
He was,
Took a
wasn't
couple
he?
of big grabs in the last quarter. Gets it out to the back pocket. So the ball still with Chapman Valley. Chapman Valley get the ball up towards half back now, and Chapman Valley have it. And the kick goes across the ground, and it goes to another teammate there, Whitley. Whitley kicks it up towards half forward, finds Rory Merigalotta. Back towards Reece Moody. Moody kicks it up, looking up there for his teammate. Two Chapman Valley players come into clash. Goes the way of Chapman Valley's player in Dylan Williamson, who's tackled high. Dylan Williamson on the centre wing, kicks it up towards half forward. Coming up, taking a good mark, is the Chapman Valley player there in Schofield. Gets it out to a teammate, and all of a sudden Chapman Valley are lining up the goal 45 metres out on a 40, probably 35 metres, and Cooper Omadai is that player. So Cooper Omadai hooking from the left half forward flank.
Been a big in for Chapman Valley this year. Cooper Omadai kicking for just outside the forward 50, as Len alluded to, on a 45-degree angle to the southern end. See what he can do from the great southern area, I believe, of Western Australia. Goes across the face of goal and comes off hands and through for the minor score. But Amadai added a bit of height and a bit of talent to the Chapman Valley lineup.
Yeah, on the Bambi scoreboard, Chapman Valley are 1 behind, so too are Rovers. So it's all even here in the early stages of this first term, with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton on Drennan O'Malley Motors game day. The very important Indigenous round for the Great Northern Footy League. Ball with Rovers defence on the clubroom side, and Rovers kicking towards the northern end. There goes the kick, up into the air, big pack around the ball, ball very close to the boundary line, ball running free. Great Northern or Chapman Valley pick it up through Kim Schofield, but Schofield is over the boundary line, and there'll be a boundary throw in on the outer side of Mazzucchelli Oval, or the outer side, the clubroom side, because we are broadcasting from the scoreboard side this afternoon. And of course we're doing it with thanks to our friends at Great Southern Fuels and Classic Clashes from their beautiful truck.
Ball to come in from the outer side, or the far side from which we're broadcasting, as Glenn just mentioned, and it comes now. A point apiece on the scoreboard in the early stages of the first term, but Chapman Valley have run rubber the green at the moment as they send it inside the forward 50. Merrick Leota went up, he couldn't take the mark, his opposite number couldn't either, but he drags the ball down, and another ball up will be thrown just outside the forward 50. So Chapman Valley desperate to get a major on the board early in this encounter. The ball goes the way of Chapman Valley off the boot of that player. Looked pretty good off the boot in the end, but swung too far to one side and through for the minor score. So Chapman Valley starting to pepper their forward 50 there.
Yeah, Kim Schofield, that player. I do notice that Kobe Simpson's gone off the ground. Don't know how serious that was. We got a heavy clash in the opening minutes of the contest. Ball coming out now through Rovers' Jamie Geyer. Geyer brings the ball out towards the clubroom side, looking out there for some movement. Rovers are moving the ball well at the moment, and they have the ball on half back. Ball comes in towards the centre. Chapman Valley stand the ground, get the ball back, goes back towards a Chapman Valley player who quickly gets it forward, but Rovers stand their ground, and Rovers player does well on that occasion. Young Blake Tazewell, who was a star at Country Week, gets it to another good worker at Country Week, it's Sean Brennan. He brings the ball in, finds Jake Criddle. Criddle gets it up towards the centre of the ground, finds Clayton Parfitt. Clayton Parfitt, the veteran in the Demons colours this afternoon, gets it up towards half forward. Opportunity now for Rovers. They shoot on goal, and a good bit of play there from the Chapman Valley defence, right on the line. Tom Walker slapped it through, but that was a good kick from
Shane Hatch.
Yeah, good effort from Shane Hatch, and all of a sudden the ball has rebounded, and Rovers, they are 2 behinds. They lead Chapman Valley 1 behind.
Yeah, leading early in this encounter, thanks to Radio Mumma, the home of GFL football. Peter Feringer and Glenn Barner bringing you all the action from Mazzucchelli Oval this afternoon. Out of the middle it comes now for the Valley, out toward the broadcast side. Bounces in kind for either player from Rovers or Chapman Valley. The ball goes to ground. Here is again Williamson, gets it inside to Schofield. That's Jaden Schofield, a beautiful lace-out kick. Finds a teammate and who's equal to the task in Kim Schofield. He sends it out to Tyron Paper Talk, 50 gamer, who takes a beautiful mark, and it was, we would have marked back then, it was a beautiful lace-out kick. He'll now have a shot on goal.
Yeah, Jaden Schofield got it over to brother Kim, and Kim got it out beautifully to Tyron. Tyron ran onto it with a lot of finesse, and Chapman Valley lining up for goal. Tyron Papertalk, their leading goal scorer, and Tyron Papertalk, of course, as Peter just mentioned, played 50 games now for Chapman Valley, so his best footy about to start. He gets a kick forward into the forward pocket, looking again for Schofield. Schofield screws it around the corner, looking there for some movement. In goes his teammate, trying to put the pressure on. Ball still in play. Can Chapman Valley pick it up? No, they can't. Yes, they can. They run into goal now. Goes the way of Kane Simpson. He feeds it back. Finds a teammate in Mitchell Thompson. Mitch Thompson shoots towards goal. Good bit of play from Rovers as Blake Tazewell slaps the ball through for a force behind. And on the scoreboard for Bambi, we can tell you that Chapman Valley are 3 behinds. They lead Rovers 2 behinds. And at this rate, Peter, it could be a 0-0 draw.
It's pretty even performance by both sides out on the park at the moment. Ball coming out of defence. Player and Tazewell, in fact, it's Geyer. Geyer celebrating his birthday earlier this week. Glenn gets to a team. Puts him under pressure, though. He's all at sea and caught in possession. So, not a great decision by Geyer in the end. In fact, the ball has gone over the boundary. The opponent's caught in possession. Tight boundary on this side. The ball be thrown in deep attack now for Chapman Valley. Desperate to get a major on the board. Both teams are, but Chapman Valley usually have scored by this time, and
Kane
off
Simpson
the pack,
has this
a
time.
beautiful rove off the pack by Kane Simpson, as you heard from Glenn Barnden, and he scores early goal for Chapman Valley, and they have gained the ascendancy in our Adrian O'Malley game day.
Yeah, interesting. It took 10 minutes in the first quarter, with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton, for Chapman Valley to get the first score on the board. First major, that is. So on the scoreboard for Bambi Childcare, we can tell you that Chapman Valley are now 1 goal 3. They lead Rovers 2 behinds. And you're tuned to Radio Mama, your home of GNFL footy, with thanks to Adrian O'Malley Motors Game Day and Community Bank Geraldton. And a pretty entertaining game. And good to see Rovers. They got absolutely walloped when they last played against Brigades. But they've come out here full of determination, putting good pressure on Chapman Valley. And Chapman Valley are realising very quickly they're in a game of footy and they have to work hard to work their way through this contest.
Moving into the middle stages of this first term, and Chapman Valley now just ascended to the lead in this match as they come out of the middle once again. Thompson quickly puts it onto his boot into the half-forward area. It's a nice kick by Thompson at the feet of a player in Paper Talk, unable to take it. The ball spills free. Into the pocket it goes, and high tackle is put on the youngster in Simpson. Kane Simpson sees a lead. It's all too easy as Schofield runs in. Kim Schofield and will walk into an open goal and score the second in as many moments here at Mazzucchelli Oval.
Yeah, so Chapman Valley's starting to get a bit of a run, a bit of system now. And on the Bambi scoreboard, Chapman Valley are 2 goals 3. Rovers are 2 behinds. Kim Schofield, they're using him in a different role, Peter. You would have noticed they're moving him into the forward line. He's very, very lively, and he gives Chapman Valley another option up forward. So it'll be interesting to see if he continues to be persevered with upfield, and interesting to see the way he's been
both both Schofields in the forward line. Then usually Jaden's there as well. He usually plays on the half-back flank as well. So interesting, very versatile, the brothers, aren't they?
Well, they are very talented, of course, and looking forward to build to the second half of the year. Only 6 rounds remain for the season, including this round, before the final. So the season is coming to an end very, very quickly. And as you notice, after Country Week, generally the sides in the 4, they really start prepping, and Chapman Valley is starting to do now as Dylan Williamson wins the ball out of the centre, kicks it up towards the full forward, almost a good mark to Paper Talk. Paper Talk goes back in, retrieves it, gives it to Merigalotta, back to Paper Talk, whistle on play, and the ball goes forward, and Merigalotta was pinged for incorrect disposal, and I don't know that...
a 50-minute penalty,
Paper Talk carried on, and he didn't. He kicked the ball through. He didn't realise.
Guy will bring the ball right down to.
So the ball goes from one end to the end. So the ball goes up towards centre wing. Goes the way now of the Rovers player in Kobe Bursell. Kobe Bursell gets the ball forward. Another 50 metre. So he's asked the question. The umpire said you must have run.
I must have ran over the mark. I think.
Yeah. So the ball's with Bursell now. So Bursell at half
forward. Kobe's been for a while.
Yes. So Kobe Bursell, who's been playing good footy for the Demons, gives it to a teammate. That teammate is Drummond. Drummond sets sail for home with a big kick, pack into the air, ball slap forward, goes the way of Chapman Valley, goes the way of Mitchell Thompson. He gets it out wide where he picks out a teammate, and that teammate gets it quickly up the ground, looks to Harrison Criddle, and Harrison Criddle with the ball on half back, feeds it out. And Chapman Valley have it through Bo Simpson. Bo Simpson slips over the crucial stage. That's Rovers back in on centre wing. Clubroom side, picked up by Rovers. Rovers kick it up towards half forward. And once again, the ever-reliable Tommy Walker stands his ground, kicks the ball in towards half forward where he finds Nathan Walter. Walter goes to centre wing where he finds Sam Solomon. Solomon centres the ball, finds Mitchell Thompson. So Chapman Valley using the ball well now, although Thompson kicks the ball and the man on the mark. It gives the Rovers chance to reload through Parfitt. Parfitt screws the ball around the corner, looking out there for the hard-running player there in Isaac Gentle. Isaac Gentle kicks it towards half forward. Rovers regroup. Farron Parfitt shoots on goal, but Farron is offline on this occasion. And on the scoreboard for Bambi, Chapman Valley are 2-3, and Rovers are 3 behind.
Yeah, nice little build up by the Demons on that occasion, but unable to finish it off was Parfitt, the veteran. Ball about to be brought back in now. Thompson in the defence, sends it to the broadcast side, I should say the crowd side. Ball in the middle now, and Chapman Valley have ascendancy as they send it down the corridor. Player marks, and that player is Williamson into the half-forward area. Sees Jaden on a lead. That's Jaden Schofield. He easily takes a mark and will shoot from just inside the forward 50. So a 45-degree angle, kicking toward the southern end of the ground. We'll bring up the third major this afternoon for Chapman Valley. The coach didn't play country week this year, but has been a great servant for the Great Northern Football League, WA, for some time. The kick is a good one by Schofield, but two fine eyes on this occasion, and is recorded as a point.
On the Bambi scoreboard, it is the Naaguja Royals 2 goals for. Rovers are 3 behind, so Chapman Valley putting the pressure on, but Rovers are playing well in this quarter. They've gone forward on a number of occasions, look quite threatening. Ball comes out through Gaia. Gaia puts it on his left boot, but a little bit too cute there. And the ball goes out of bounds on the full. So Chapman Valley bring the ball in quickly, get into the forward pocket, looking there for Tyron Papertop. He breaks the tackle, gets a kick in towards full forward, ball running free. Ball goes towards the Rovers player in Jake Whitney. He slaps the ball through. So Chapman Valley now go to 2 goals 5 on the Bambi scoreboard. They lead Rovers 3 behinds. And we've now played some 16 minutes in this first term with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton, the bank that gives back to your community.
Rapidly getting to quarter time here. No dread, no Mallee game day. Peter Forenza of Glen Barner bringing you all the action. We're going to the outer side. Jaden Schofield in that passage of play fists it away and over the boundary. As you can see in the background, a beautiful green Chapman Valley. The crops are certainly relishing the conditions in the Midwest at the moment, and we'll start seeing the colours of canola very, very soon. In they come now, the ball up into the air. Players set themselves. Rovers do the better, or do they? They come out of the pack now. There's Clayton Parfitt on into the fence. He's looking for support as he comes out of a passage of play. Doesn't find that though. The ball spills free. Chapman Valley do the better, but curtailed in their efforts by the Demons defence as they are corralled toward the boundary, and the ball finds the white line. So the ball about to be thrown in now.
Chapman Valley got a free kick
to Chapman Valley. Rory Merigalotta on that occasion sends it forward, and up goes Jamie Guy. There's not much of him, but he certainly takes a nice mark, and that's a clever mark in defence once again.
Gets it out to a teammate there. Running with the ball is Sean Brennan. Takes a good strong mark, the hard-working Rovers captain. Sean Brennan with the ball on half-back. Umpire says play on. Umpires this afternoon, Kevin Osmond and Brian Baker, doing the job for the GNFL. Ball comes the way of Chapman Valley, goes the way of Ryan Forrester. He slaps the ball forward, ball very close to the boundary line, and the ball, in fact, stays in play. Good bit of play from Mitchell Thompson. He centres the ball, but Rovers have the numbers back there in defence. So Rovers run out of defence, kicks out a half-back, goes up towards centre wing. In goes the young player in Kane Simpson. Kane picks it up beautifully. Then he screws the ball around on his left boot, picks out a teammate on half-back at Jaden Thompson. Thompson kicks it in towards the centre of the ground. A good strong mark taken by young Mick Horsman, who was picked in the CBH Country All-Stars for the Colts. One of 3 GNFL players. So Mick Horsman, good young ruckman, gets it up the ground, picks out a teammate there in Dylan Williamson. Dylan Williamson on the backward side of the square, kicks into the man on the mark, has to go back in and retrieve it. Well, Mitchell Thompson does. Feeds a beautiful handball out, gets in the way of the player there in Walter. Nathan Walter gets it up the ground, gets good connection with Jaden Schofield, who's becoming pretty dangerous up there. He gets a lot of the ball, hasn't kicked a goal as yet. His brother Kim has. So Chapman Valley chasing their 3rd goal of the afternoon.
Shot from here just moments ago.
Yes, he's had a sider. He's a clever player, so he would have taken that in. Beautiful conditions for Peter.
Great.
There's hardly a breath of breeze. It is favouring the end to which Chapman Valley are kicking. And there Jaden Schofield says that's how you kick him. And Jaden Schofield gets Chapman Valley's 3rd goal of the afternoon. And on the Bambi scoreboard, it is Chapman Valley, the Naaguja Royals. They are 3 goals 5 to Rovers 3 behind. And of course this day in honour of the GNFL Indigenous All-Stars and the round, and it is sponsored by the Geraldton Sporting Aboriginal Corporation. And this first term with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton, Glenn Barden and Peter Forenza calling all the action in what is a beautiful day in the Midwest.
As we draw closer and closer to the quarter time break, Rovers' penetration into their forward 50 is almost dried up at this point. They need some more avenues forward, but will be blocked off on this occasion by good defensive work by Chapman Valley. That has been reciprocated in the forward line with another goal there just recently by Jaden Schofield. Ball back in the middle now. As Dan said, a sun-drenched Mazzucchelli Oval. Up they go. Tazewell wins the tap, but to no avail. Goes to ground, picked up by Horsman in the end. He tries to send it forward, but out of the pack it comes. Goes away of Nelly. Bit of a chip kick into the full forward area by Brennan, but to no avail. Chapman Valley defence through Solomon. Send it into space now and on the wing. The ball is with Chapman Valley and Jaden Schofield. Telegraphs a pass as he almost takes the mark, comes off hands and spills over the boundary. The ball be about to be thrown in on the broadcast side, the eastern side, uncustomary for us. We're usually in the Farrell stand, but relishing the conditions here in what is great vantage point, the Great Southern Fuels classic catcher struck there.
Ball gets thrown back into play. We're into time on now in this first term as Mitchell Thompson gets another possession, kicks it up towards Simpson. Simpson couldn't mark it, goes back in to retrieve it, but Rovers do well. Rovers come out of defence through River Sandals. Ball comes to ground, picked up by the player in Mitchell Thompson. Mitchell Thompson, that's how you kick a goal from 50 metres. And Chapman Valley get their fourth of the afternoon now. And on the Bambi scoreboard here at Mazzucchelli Oval, Chapman Valley now are 4 goals, 5. They lead Rovers 3 behinds. And Chapman Valley starting to break open the game and getting a little bit more of the ball, particularly in the last 10 or so minutes, Peter.
Yeah, starting to get more possessions of their opposition, that's for sure, and making them disposals effective, and they've been recorded and finished off in majors on the scoreboard. They have a handy lead now as we go into the quarter-time break, and I think Rovers could do with a break to settle the ship somewhat. They started off in fine fettle, but have been whittled down somewhat by their opponents to this stage, and their avenues forward have been few and far between in recent times. So the ball back in the middle now. Time ticks away, and this is the first term brought to you by Community Bank Geraldton. All bottled up in the middle. That's Rovers need to do that for a little while so they can find some avenues forward. Tazewell, as Len said, performed at the Country Championships. He's been doing so for a number of years now. Was a star in the junior side and now in the seniors. Ball off the half-back flanks is a free kick go the way of Chapman Valley to the, or I should say, the crowd side of the ground. Goes away now of a unselfish Jaden Schofield who handballs it to a teammate. He runs into space. The bounce isn't kind. Goes to ground. Chapman Valley get another bite of the cherry as that player is quickly brought to ground and set upon. And the umpire says no prior opportunity. The ball be balled up. Metres away from the goal once again for Chapman Valley.
Ringo McKenna winning the ball out of the centre after he was held while not in position.
Country captain, Glenn.
Yeah, played a ripper, and he was clearly probably the best player over the carnival. There he goes. The ball goes to that player again, but he's offline on that occasion is Ringo McKenna. Another minor score for Chapman Valley. On the Bambi scoreboard, Chapman Valley go to 4 goals, 6-30. They lead Rovers 3 behinds. Ball to be brought back into play. Dying stages of the first term, with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton on Radio Mama, your long-term head of local footy. And the ball goes the way of Rovers now. Rovers get it the way of Sandals. And he played an interesting carnival too. He looks like a likely
assistant
type.
Coach Dave Friends was quite impressed with him.
Yeah, he's a good young player. The ball goes forward from Chapman Valley's again. Williamson gets it up towards the forward pocket. Ball running free. The ball goes through the wrong side of the post for Chapman Valley. Another minus score. So, on the Bambi scoreboard, it is the Naaguja Royals, 4 goals, 6. They lead Rovers 3 behinds.
Yeah, they're being somewhat held in their defensive 50 at the moment. The Demons, they can't seem to penetrate forward. So they kick to the, actually almost up the middle of the ground. Almost found the player who loses possession though, goes forward again. Nelly tries to do some work. Soccerset goes back the way now of Jaden Schofield. He's in everything this afternoon. He kicks it into the half-forward area for Chapman Valley. And I think I thought a free kick might be going to the Valley there as it comes off hands, but the umpire says no prior opportunity. And the ball will be thrown up once again. A lot of talk about stoppages in AFL football this morning on Sportshed Saturday and Footy Forum, Glenn. But it hasn't been too bad here so far this afternoon.
No, it's been good. Both sides playing pretty offensive footy, but although Rovers have sort of started the game really well, they need to keep the tackles up because they're going to find it hard to keep pace with Chapman Valley, who probably are a little bit fitter and a far more experienced side, of course, as the reigning premier. Ball comes in from the boundary throw-in, picked up by Mitchell Thompson again. He roves the ball, beautiful and gets a very, very good goal for Chapman Valley. That's his second of the afternoon. And on the Bambi scoreboard, as we head towards quarter time, it is 5 goals, 6-36 for Chapman Valley, and Rovers are 3 behind. So interesting scoreline. So Chapman Valley now starting to get value for effort, Peter. and they have had the
They're getting
breeze
a little
at
bit
their
more
back.
than that at the moment,
Yeah.
Glenn, because they certainly are taking every advantage now. And I think Rovers' avenues have all been cut off, and if they did have any to start with, and I think that's something that they need to work on coming into the second term, because it's hard to defend when you don't know where to kick the ball.
Yeah, so a pretty good scoreline for Chapman Valley. Ball back in the centre. Mick Horseman doing the rucking for Chapman Valley. Blake Tazewell doing the rucking for the Rovers side. Blake Tazewell did the rucking for the Great Northern Senior
Two
side.
exciting young ruckmen.
Yeah, and Mick Horseman did the rucking for the Colts. They go at it. Horseman has the best of it. Comes to the ground. Goes the way of a Chapman Valley player who's slung to the ground. But the umpire said, that's all good. Ball comes the way of Rovers, and the play goes up. Azevedo gives it away of Sean Brennan. Brennan shoots towards goal, and he's kicked a goal. A good goal to young Sean Brennan. A very good goal indeed, and well finished by him. And
Wasn't Sean Brennan, but we'll find out who that player is. A young will-o'-the-wisp.
Little fella.
Yeah, he rode the ball pretty well and scored a fine goal right on the siren here at Nabor this afternoon at Mazzucchelli Oval, and Rovers have scored their first goal of the afternoon. And
That's Damien Simpson.
Damien Simpson, a fine goal, fine effort. And you're listening to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
It's game day. Glenn Barton and Pete Forenza keeping you across round 12 of the GNFL Indigenous round for the Geraldton Sporting Aboriginal Corporation. And today's match coming live from Mazzucchelli Oval at Naaguja, with the second place reigning Premier Chapman Valley hosting the 7th position Rovers. And at quarter time, with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirrily War, the member for Geraldton, we can tell you the quarter time score. Chapman Valley 5-7, 37. Lead Rovers 1 goal 2-8, so a 29-point margin in favour of the home side. And looking at the goal scorers for Chapman Valley, they've shared them around. Mitch Thompson has 2, Jaden Schofield 1, Kim Schofield 1, Kane Simpson 1. Looking at contenders for the Skeeters Restaurant Player of the Day, Peter, you're looking after the Rovers' better players. Who did you like in the first quarter?
No particular order, Glenn. Clayton Parfitt, I like Blake Tazewell in the ruck. Sean Brennan, Kobe Bursell and Jamie Guy both in defence.
And looking at Chapman Valley, I thought Mick Hillisman's doing well in the ruck. Mitch Thompson, lively. Tom Walker in defence. Kim Schofield and Jaden Schofield giving good dynamics up forward. Ball back in the centre. About to get this second term underway for Melissa Price, the member for Geraldton. Goes the way of Chapman Valley. They feed the handball out, goes to Walters. Walters goes by hand to Horseman. Horseman goes by hand to his teammate, and Bo Simpson settles it with a kick up the ground. He finds Schofield. Schofield turns it around, gets it up towards half forward, goes the way of the player there in Moody. He gets a kick forward, and the ball comes back to Rovers. They put it on their left boot, short pass, and let Sam Solomon in. He couldn't pick it up, gives it back towards a teammate. Ball goes from Ringo McKenna, goes towards the Rovers player there who stands his ground in Liam Simpson. Gets it out to Sean Brennan. Sean Brennan kicks it forward up towards the boundary line. Ball goes out of play, and there'll be a boundary throw in just up from the scoreboard here at Naaguja at the southern end. And the Rovers player that saw the ball across in front of him was young Oliver Campbell. So the ball will be thrown back into play. Ball is in the forward half of the ground for Rovers.
Of course, the son of the great Jamie Campbell.
Yes, it's lovely to see him out there playing good footy for Rovers. The ball comes back into play. Comes to the front, Thompson picked up by Schofield. Schofield puts it up looking for Moody. Moody goes in to pick up the ball, and he was caught, well, not in possession. So Moody, a premiership player with Chapman Valley, plays it on now, kicks it up towards half forward, looking up there for Harrison, gets a handball from Schofield, back to Schofield, Kim Schofield this time, kicks it in towards the forward 50, looking there for Omadai. Omadai feeds a handball out for a teammate in Walters. Walters kicks it up towards full forward, looking for the 50-gamer in Tyron Papertalk, and Papertalk screws the ball around and kicked a magic goal. How he kicked it from deep in the right forward pocket and made something out of nothing. So a wonderful goal there from Tyron Papertalk. And on the scoreboard for Bambi, we see the scoreboard now rolls over, and it is 6 goals 7 to 1 goal 3.
Could be a contender again, Glenn, for the Kimberley Accommodation Group Goal of the Year. 3 nights accommodation in a Broome Resort. So coming into the year, that goal from Papertalk might be in the running.
Yeah, beautiful goal from Tyron Papertalk. We mentioned earlier his 50th league game for Chapman Valley, and Tyron Papertalk playing.
Well, made something out of nothing, really, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Well, how he kicked the goal, he wouldn't have seen much daylight from deep.
We thought the
right
passage of play was over.
I thought he was going to be caught in the deep in the pocket and be forced through for a force behind. But a very good goal, and it's the second minute of this all-important second quarter.
Well, back in the middle now, the last goal by Chapman Valley has really given them ascendancy here this afternoon. We're going the way of Simpson now. Bo Simpson back on the court, or back on the ground, I should say, gets it to this player in Schofield. Beautiful lace-out kick, and finds the big arms of the man who's about to shoot on goal now, and that's Omadai. We could have marked that one, Glenn. It would have hit us that hard in the chest that we couldn't drop it.
I think it's Reece Moody.
Reece Moody, I apologise. So Reece Moody about to have a shot on goal.
Chapman Valley's jumpers, they need to have white numbers, not black numbers.
Yeah, it's off the side of his boot though. It's going to be Saul and Sundry. It goes toward the point post, but a mark is taken there.
This time it's Omadai.
It's Omadai now. He's going to go for the check side kick. So let's see what he can do. He's pretty clever, this youngster. 22, 23 years of age. Omadai going to the check side kick at the northern end of Chapman Valley Oval. Mazzucchelli Oval, I should say. And he puts it through. That's a great kick by Omadai. And Chapman Valley really have control of the game here this afternoon.
Yes, on the Bambi scoreboard, Chapman Valley now go to 7 goals 7. They lead Rovers who are 1 goal 2. So yeah, they've kicked away. We've seen Chapman Valley kick the first 2 goals of this quarter. They kicked the first 5 of the first quarter. So Chapman Valley have kicked, as we see, 7 of the last 8 goals, and they've done pretty well at this point.
They certainly have, and that was a pretty good kick by Amadai there. The old classic check side that the youngsters are pretty good at the moment, better at those than they are at stock standard kicks currently, as the ball comes back to the middle now. And, early stages of this, the second term, thanks to Melissa Price, controlled by Chapman Valley, the Royals. Both sides wearing their Indigenous Guernseys for Indigenous round in the GNFL. Ball back in the middle now, up they go. Players setting themselves, and on this occasion it's won by Tazewell, but goes the way of the Chapman Valley followers, and Thompson's one of those. He tries to get it out into space. He finds it, but there's Brennan. He's got other ideas, or has he? He loses possession, the ball spills free. His way now with a couple of other players in Troy, one of those for the Demons, but Chapman Valley do the better in that passage of play as the ball comes across the face of ground, the face of play, and goes the way of the player there in Harrison Lane, who sends it inboard into the half-forward area. It goes now. Players setting themselves. Jaden Schofield, I'll say it again, unselfishly kicks it inside the corridor and gives it to his brother, who takes a mark. It almost went, obviously went the desired 15 metres, and goes away of Kim Schofield. So Kim Schofield having a few troubles with his calf muscles this season. Glenn, I think he's had troubles with his calf muscles most of his career, has Kim, but he's going to have a shot on goal now, and he kicked from about 45 when he gets onto this one. It looks pretty good off the boot. It's not straight enough though, going through for the -4. But Chapman Valley continue to pepper their forward 50 unrelentingly.
Yes, and on the Bambi scoreboard, Chapman Valley 7-8 lead Rovers 1 goal 2 as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Geraldton and Kirralie War, the member for Geraldton, and the game being played up at Mullawar at quarter time. Town 6-5-41 lead Mullawar 1 behind, and the other score that we've got coming in as we see Chapman Valley go forward again, but Rovers stand their ground, but they got a free kick there because the player was interfered with. So
advantage paid.
So advantage, is it a 50 metre as well?
No.
Okay, so the score at quarter time at the recreation ground, Railways are 4 goals straight, Brigades are 2 behind.
Ball going further afield now and down the wing for Rovers. Tazewell has it. Kenny set something up. A nice kick into the full forward area, but ill directed though. Rovers do the better though as it comes to a couple of players, and one of those is a player there in Criddle who puts it onto his boot under pressure. Defence for Chapman Valley put under pressure though. They do well to get it out of defence. The half-back flank now. It is with the Royals in front of our broadcast position. For Radio Mama, Peter Prunes and Glenn Barnum bringing you all the action. The ball at centre wing though. A nice mark is taken by Maynard. Maynard now, he switches inboard looking for this player. He is the go-to man at the moment, Clayton Parfitt. Pretty reliable Parfitt, but on this occasion is quickly curtailed in his efforts, brought to ground. The umpire says no opportunity, fellas, and we'll throw it up once again. So the ball just outside the centre square, favouring the northern end, the end with Chapman Valley kicking. In comes a big ruckman for the Valley. He slaps it down to ground, comes off the boot of a player in Thompson, and there he is again. Doesn't miss too many when they're in the air. Jaden Schofield just plucks it out of thin air, and we'll have another shot on goal. Jaden Schofield has been pretty tidy with his possessions this afternoon, always is. I don't think it's anyone's secret. He's one of my favourites, if not the favourite player in the GNFL. Jaden Schofield. We're right behind him here, Glenn, so we've got a pretty good viewpoint from our broadcast position, but goes across the face of goal and through for the minor score. So Jaden Schofield unlucky on this occasion. Okay, the scoreboard rolls over again for Bambi, and it is 7 goals 9 for Chapman Valley. And Rovers are 1 goal 2. Ball comes back in. Clayton Parfitt does well. Uses all that experience and talent. Gets the ball out of the half back line. Kicks it up towards centre wing. Once again, Chapman Valley have the numbers. Can they hold the ball? Umpire said he had no prior opportunity. Umpire Osborne umpiring the game this afternoon with umpire Baker and umpire Osborne to throw the ball up in front of the club rooms here at Mazzucchelli Oval at Nabwell. Beautiful day for football, round 12 of the GNFL Premiership season. Doing it today for Geraldton Sporting Aboriginal Corporation, the Indigenous round. And on cue, Bo Simpson gets it over to a teammate, and Chapman Valley have the ball on centre wing through Thompson. Goes the way of a player who's copped one high, and the player will go back and send the ball forward. So the player with the ball is Dylan Williamson. He kicks it up towards half forward
looking up there for his coach.
Oh,
and
nice
Jaden
mark.
Schofield handballs it
Unselfish.
straight towards Tyron Papertalk. And Tyron Papertalk is like picking peas, and Tyron Papertalk slaps it through from 25 metres. As you say, Jaden Schofield could have kicked it himself, handed it over, and on the scoreboard we see another goal to Tyron Papertalk in his 50th game. Tyron has got 2 goals now, and the scoreboard rolls on for the Bambi scoreboard, and it is 8 goals, 9 for Chapman Valley. 8-9, lead Rovers 1-2.
Jaden Schofield will be racking up a lot of possessions this season, Glenn. I think he's probably in, as fine a nick as he has been in his career. But I don't know if the umpires view him the same way that we do, because we'll be getting JJ Clune medal votes. Only time will tell.
Yes, it'd be nice. He has won one, but
Yes.
he shared it with a few others. So can he continue to get votes? So Tyron Papertalk gets his second, but it was off an assist from his captain or his coach on the occasion in Jaden Schofield. Ball back in the centre, a big pack around the ball, and who could win the ball forward? Rovers have gone forward a few times, but haven't gone forward much in recent times, as Mitchell Thompson gets in the way of Omadai. Omadai, the beautiful left footer, gets it back towards Thompson. Thompson gives it over to Schofield. Schofield bounces off, goes the way of the player there in Walters. Nathan Walters goes back looking for help, gets some assistance from Jaden Thompson, goes the way of the player there in Walters, kicks it towards full forward.
Mark.
But a good young player there for Rovers stands up and takes a very good goal on the last line of defence, kicks it up the ground, and Rovers can work their way out of trouble.
Starring again in defence, Glenn.
Yeah, great to see. And he gets it up to a teammate there. That playmate was the player there in Farron Parfitt. And now it's with Brennan. Brennan gets it up the ground again. And there's players going in pretty willingly, picked up by Thompson. Thompson kicks it towards half forward, and Kim Schofield claims the mark. I think it possibly was. Must have been touched off the boot. And the ball comes forward, ball comes back, goes the way of Tom Walker for Chapman Valley. He finds Sam Solomon. Can't believe his luck. All on his own. Sam Solomon takes the mark, one bounce, kicks it towards full forward. Ball goes through the hands of the player there in Tyron Papertalk. Picked up by Schofield. Schofield goes to Simpson. It's a bit like circle work at the moment for Chapman Valley. Picked up by Thompson, Mitchell Thompson this time, offline, and a minor score. No, it's still in play. And the umpire sees the ball across the boundary line. So Chapman Valley had a lot of possessions but didn't finish off as they would have liked more efficiently. But the ball comes back into play through a boundary throw-in. In the middle stages of this second term, with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Geraldton.
Deep in attack now once again for Chapman Valley. Spent a lot of time in this area in this particular quarter. Ball coming in now, goes to ground, slap down, and there's Brennan again. Not much of him, but he's referred to as the big guy for Rovers. This ball comes in now, into space. Chapman Valley do well through Thompson, sending inboard, and a beautiful slip catch. It's taken by Schofield once again, so probably do okay. I think for WA or Australia with a catch like that, the Wall brothers would be pretty happy if they saw that too. So Schofield is the custodian that I'm talking about, and he's going back. Talking about cricket, he's going back for a run-up like Dennis Lilly. He missed his last opportunity, and will kick toward the northern end to continue to confirm the lead that Chapman Valley have here this afternoon, but alas, it's going to be a little bit too wayward to one side, and again through for the minor score. So, no, it's a goal. It's a goal. So it's in the shadows of the goal post, Glenn. I was unable to see it, and it's gone through for a major, and coming through short enough to drop right in front of the goalkeeper's feet. And that is another goal to Chapman Valley, and the goal scorer is Kim Schofield.
And that's his second of the afternoon, Pete. And looking at the score now for the Bambi, and it is a very good scoreline for Chapman Valley, 9-9 to Rovers 1-2. As we go around the grounds quickly, looking at other games, up at Mullawar, Town 6-5, 41, lead Mullawar 1 behind. And at the recreation ground, Red Dust Holdings recreation ground, Railways 4 goals straight to Brigades 2 behinds. Ball back in the centre. Umpire Osborne puts it to the air. Ball won forward by Horseman, who won the clash but also gets the ball forward. Ball goes up in the air. Rovers can regroup now, and they do, through the agency of Criddle. Ball's turned over, though. Goes the way of Nathan Walter. Walter for Chapman Valley. Kicks it in towards half forward. Ball running free. Tyron Papertalk's there. He's held. Gets a handball back towards the teammate in Schofield. Schofield slaps the ball forward, looking again for Papertalk. He can't pick it up. Ball comes to ground. He's under pressure, is the Rovers youngster. But the Rovers player is tackled, thrown to the ground. Ball spills. Picked up by Schofield. Kim Schofield kicks it towards full forward. Once again, it comes out through Rovers. Brennan. Brennan breaks the tackle. Goes back in. Feeds it back towards Bursell. He gets a kick up towards centre wing. Club room side. Rovers, they got 2-on-1. Rovers player shows good skill. Does very well indeed. And that's Drummond. He's a clever player. He gets the ball forward and a mark almost taken by the Rovers player. Chapman Valley defence under pressure a little bit at this stage. Ball on centre wing. Ball spills out and eventually it is held to that player. And umpire Osborne has no option to come in and throw the ball up again. So we have played some 14 minutes in their second term. With thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack, on Radio Mama, your home of GNFL footy.
Ball coming out of a passage of play there. Ball up from the umpire, goes away with Chapman Valley. That play couldn't take the mark. That's Solomon, I think. Puts it onto his boot inside the corridor, and there he is again. Schofield. Kim Schofield. He's having a purple patch at the moment as he kicks into space and all on his lonesome. The mark is taken by
Sam Solomon,
I think. Into a bit of a silhouette, and he runs into an open goal. Scores another one for Chapman Valley. So, it's a bit of a cricket score at the moment then. Chapman Valley totally dominating at Mazzucchelli Oval here this afternoon.
Yes, and Chapman Valley, Solomon gets a first for him, but he gets Chapman Valley's 10th goal on the Bambi scoreboard. Chapman Valley go to 10 goals, 9. They lead Rovers, who are 1 goal, 2. So Chapman Valley have added another 5 goals, 2 in this quarter.
Well, the great things
and Rovers haven't added a score.
Sorry to interrupt, then. Both the Schofield brothers, I've used the term unselfish, and there's probably no better word to describe their style of play. They're really team players, even though they get a lot of the ball. They on that occasion, Kim could have had a shot at goal. We saw Solomon had a better position. Got it out to him.
Rovers have an opportunity now as Farron Parfitt gets the ball up towards full forward. Ball running free. Ball running towards goal. And it goes through for a minor score. So Bo Simpson watched the ball go through, picks it up now, brings the ball back into play. I don't think Kobe Simpson has come back from that clash he had earlier in the game,
wasn't it?
Ball comes up towards half back, and Chapman Valley have it again through Omadai, puts it on that left boot, kicks it up towards centre wing where he finds a teammate. That teammate quickly screws the ball around, gets it up towards half forward. Chapman Valley feed it out. Fard running player there for Chapman Valley, gets it up towards full forward. Looking again there for Paper Talk. Rovers do well, under pressure. They get the ball out of the back line. They have it on half back now. Kick it up towards half forward. Chapman Valley in best position. In goes Thompson, Jaden Thompson, feeds it back. And eventually the ball comes the way of Ewan Whitley, who runs through the centre of the play, takes the ball, gets in the way of Mitchell Thompson. He kicks it up towards half forward and finds Jaden Schofield.
Jaden Schofield is in front of the Farrell grandstand, puts it onto his boots, sends it into the pocket, and a bit too cute on this occasion. Looking at that player in Simpson, finds a boundary too early, and the ball will be thrown in. Big attack once again for Chapman Valley. Melissa Price, member for Durack. Hello, Melissa, always listening into our broadcast each and every week here on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. The ball coming in now, players setting themselves. Goes away of the Rovers player, who had no option though, but Rovers to have it through Bursell. Bursell onto his boot down the line, and that's to play where Rovers are starting to steady the ship somewhat. Ball on the far side. But the kick isn't a good one. In front of the stand, it goes the way of Chapman Valley once again. They come inboard. There's Thompson. He sees space. He doesn't meet the intended target, but the player running onto it knew what he wanted to do. He collects it, goes straight down the corridor now and shoots on goal. Rovers play quickly rushes it through for the minor score. But at the moment, Glenn, Rovers really are at the mercy of Chapman Valley.
Naaguja Royals are 10-10. They lead Rovers 1 goal, 2. So the ball to be brought back in by the Rovers defender, Jamie Guy. Jamie Guy, short pass, and once again, he's got to take it back. Not too sure why. I'll have to ask the umpires why they are continuing to bring the ball back. Maybe they go out. I don't know what the story is. The ball comes back to Guy. He comes out towards the clubroom side on this occasion, picked up by Schofield. He gives it away to a teammate. That teammate centres the ball, and Chapman Valley's Kim Schofield is marked, and Kim Schofield is 40 metres out, directly in front, kicking to the northern end. Can't believe how still it is out here at Mazzucchelli Oval this
kicking
afternoon.
for goal number 3, Jaden, I should say, Kim Schofield, Glenn, and he kicked the last one from about the same position. Toyed or sort of a bit of a shot at him, but he was taking a run up as long as Dennis Lilly, but he's done it once again. It paid off last time. So
it's a lot closer this time, I think.
Let's see what will happen. So in he comes now. Jaden Schofield kicked toward the northern end. Kicked just on 45.
He's got it.
He's done it again. So that's the third goal of the afternoon for Jaden Schofield. Kim, I should say. And Kim Schofield is, him and Jaden are sort of sharing honours this afternoon, but I think he might be skipping ahead with his performance to this day.
Yeah, very interesting scoreline now on the Bambi scoreboard. Chapman Valley 11 goals, 10. They lead Rovers 1 goal, 2. So Chapman Valley starting to really make waves as we head towards time on in this second term. Well, thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Geraldton. Chapman Valley trying to hold second position, and they've got Towns coming at them, so they too need to keep winning.
Melissa would like to tell you she's the member for Durack, Glenn, because Kira Lee is Geraldton's member. So
yeah, but she lives in Geraldton. Sometimes.
She does.
Yeah,
she does. Hello to Melissa and Kira Lee, great supporters of the footy.
And helping us out on Radio Mama. So the ball comes back, and Bo Simpson is rewarded. He goes by hand to his teammate in coach Jaden Schofield. He gets in towards the forward pocket. Chapman Valley, you shoot towards goal again. Ball goes free. In goes the young man in Simpson. In goes Paper Talk. Umpire has no option but to come in and throw the ball up once again. In the forward line for Chapman Valley, only 15 metres away from the danger zone. And we'll see the ball thrown up. Goes the way of Paper Talk. Ball goes to the ground. Big pack around the ball. Chapman Valley player gets it, picks it up, but well done to the Rovers youngster there. Stands his ground, kicks the ball back to whence it came. Chapman Valley can mop it up now through Mitch Thompson. Throws boot to ball, but he's offline, out of bounds on the full. So the ball will come back in. So Rovers will get the opportunity through Jamie Guy to relieve the pressure as we head towards time on in this second
Jamie
term.
Guy's had a long season, Glenn, and he certainly continues to perform as he kicks it out of defence now. Don't forget the Gerald Hotel in town is a place to be. Bob's Bar, late evenings, a nice place to have a gin or two. And also the Old Man in the Sea. Great meals and great fellowship up on the rooftop, which could be a bit chilly this time of year, but a great fellowship and great food as well.
I think they had those nice fires up there.
Yeah, that'd be what you're after, Glenn, that's for sure. Well, coming out of defence now, Rovers, one of their few sorties forward in this particular term. In the middle of the ground they are curtailed in their efforts, so Chapman Valley have the numbers. Also the skill, I hate to say, in this particular match, as the ball goes across the ground directly from our broadcast position. With the Great Southern Fuels Classic Clashes truck. The ball thrown up in front of the Ferrell grandstand. Rovers do the better on this occasion. Swanee Brennan does well to put it onto his boot into space. Bringing onto it now is the speedster there and Isaac Gentle. Gentle spins around on the 50-cent piece, sends it into the half-forward area. Looking for support up there. Running onto it is that player in Parfitt. That's Clayton Parfitt. Haven't seen much of his brother Farron this afternoon. I don't know if he's out there at the moment. He's very, very quiet by his standards, but I suppose he's been playing in the forward line. Maybe he needs to be a bit more versatile, Farron, and get a bit of the ball.
He won the ball out of the centre sometime back.
He did. Ball thrown up now, going the way of Rovers, and there he is again going forward. Can they get a goal, the Demons, as they go to the outer side? Shoot on goal now! What have they done? No, it's gone across the face of goal. Unlucky on that occasion. That would have been a much needed goal for the Demons, but on this occasion it is not that, and it's recorded as a point.
Yes, so on the Bambi scoreboard, it is Rovers 1-3. They trail Chapman Valley 11-10. Isaac Gentle got a bit of possession then. Isaac Gentle playing his debut game for Rovers this afternoon, so we congratulate the young men.
Good on you, Isaac.
It's good to see so many young players out there for Rovers showing their wares to their coach, Brodie and Corey Smith, who are watching and redeveloping this club and this game style. And they've got a few young blokes out there this afternoon. Ball comes up the ground, goes the way now of Ringo McKenna, the hard-working captain for Chapman Valley. Goes with a short pass, finds the player there in Dylan Williamson. Williamson goes further afield, finds Kim Schofield. Kim Schofield gives it to brother Jaden on centre wing, clubroom side. He centres the ball, looking for Omadai, finds that player, running past his numbers, goes the way of McKenna. McKenna kicks it up towards half forward, finds Solomon. Solomon kicks it in towards the forward pocket, looking there for Tyron Papertalk. And Chapman Valley moved the ball beautifully on that occasion. And Tyron Papertalk playing his 50th game.
Bread and butter this kick, Glenn. I know it's on a pretty tight angle, but he's done this before today, especially this ground. He's kicking from the outer side to the crowd, but our commentary side this afternoon. So we're at the best seats in the house to see him shoot on goal here. So Tyron Papertalk, as Glenn said, 50 gamer. The 50 gamer looks pretty good, but it comes in a little bit short off hands and through for the minor score. So Rovers, a couple of sorties forward, but just can't seem to bend the dominance of Chapman Valley.
Yes, and 11-11 is the score for Chapman Valley. They lead Rovers 1-3 on the Bambi scoreboard. Rovers bring the ball back into play. Picked up now by Bo Simpson, puts it on his left boot, kicks it towards half forward, looking there again for Papertalk. But running out with the ball is the player there in Waden Gentle. He gets it up towards centre wing, clubroom side. Chapman Valley can rebound now. Goes the way of Mosley. He's slung to the ground. Umpire said he was caught in possession, which he was, and the ball goes the way of the Rovers defender there. So Rovers have the ball on half back, and it's Clay Azevedo is that player. Azevedo with the ball on half back, and the ball is told to play on now. He goes out towards centre wing on the other side, or the clubroom side, picked up by Rovers. Rovers get a handball forward. Rovers player gets tackled, caught in possession. Umpire says play on. Ball spills, goes the way of Chapman Valley. They win the ball forward now through Kim Schofield. He centres it to centre half forward, and he picks out the big hard running player there in Moody. Moody gets it forward, looking for his full forward there in Tyron Papertalk, and Papertalk says, why was I not interfered with that? Umpire said, no, nothing in that. And there's the siren. It's half time at the football in our Drennan O'Malley Motors game day. That term with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack. And at half time, Chapman Valley on pretty good terms with themselves. Chapman Valley are 11-11. They lead Rovers 1-3, and you're tuned to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. And a very good afternoon. Welcome back. Half-time of the football. Drennan O'Malley Motors Game Day. And you're on Radio Mama, your home of GNFL footy. Glenn Bund and Peter Forenza. And we've got some special guests as part of round 12 of the GNFL Indigenous round, sponsored by the Geraldton Sporting Aboriginal Corporation. A couple of legends of AFL footy. And we're very, very pleased and proud to welcome you to Radio Mama. Winston Abraham, good afternoon.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, thanks for inviting us.
And also Byron Pickett, of course, both stellar players in the competition of years gone by. And Byron, back in your own territory, back this way.
Yeah. I lived in Gero for a couple of years, my mum's from Mount Magnet, so yeah, very close to.
And you're heading back to Mount Magnet this week to catch up with family.
Yeah, shooting up there tomorrow for a couple of days. So it'll be good.
Very good.
Looking forward to it.
So, Winston, what's been keeping you busy? I know that you and your wife work very, very hard in the community, playing a big part in the community. What are you doing?
Yeah. My wife and I, we run our own netball club down in Perth. Got 11 teams down there, and doing some good stuff in the community with the girls.
Are you still involved in footy in any way?
Oh no, not coaching, but the netball and my daughter's ambitions are take up all the time, and I play golf where I can and work hard at work.
And Winston, we know you as a pretty good North Melbourne player, but of course you spent some time at the Fremantle. Are you excited about Fremantle this year and their prospects?
Yeah, it's it's frustrating with the old boys. They sort of show a lot, and then they they don't give when it's time to win. Their finals time. And
Byron, when it comes to you, what of your involvement in footy at the moment?
Probably similar to Winnie. My kids live away from home now. They're all old enough to live by themselves. I got three of the kids stay in Port Lincoln, and one of them plays in Ceduna at the moment. The oldest boy Byron and the youngest boy Cade plays in Port Lincoln.
Very good. And of course you're keeping a close eye on the players that are playing AFL footy now. You got any idea, Byron? We know that there's not as many Indigenous players playing at AFL level that there perhaps was when you were the groundbreakers and making it happen. Have you got any feeling to why there aren't as many young Indigenous boys playing at the senior level?
Yeah, not too sure. I mean, me and Winston was talking about that, a couple of days ago, and we try and get our minds ticking, try and think and see, trying to find out why the percentage is low for Aboriginal players, young Aboriginal players getting back up to the highest level. And, if there's anyone out there, I'd love to be a part of it to try and get that number up.
We've been watching your classic reels from both of you on the classic clashes and, of course, the Great Southern Fuels truck here throughout the day. And you guys played in a very exciting era, and it was great to see footy played like it is. Winston, do you still enjoy the game to watch as a spectator? Because I know you were both probably enjoyed playing the game, but not great spectators. But is the game changed a lot since you played? Yeah,
it's, to be honest with you, it's pretty frustrating to watch a game these days. What I sort of worry about, or not worry about, what sort of frustrates me is we've had the greatest game in the country, and we've changed it to something very soft, and all the basic skills and knowledge that was taught back in the day that really worked, it's thrown out the window for apparently a game that's modern. But I think they say the game's changed, but you still have to get the ball, get it to your teammates, and kick goals, and defend and spoil and chase and shepherd, all that stuff that we grew up about the game loving. It's not there anymore, and it's frustrating to watch.
And Byron, when it comes to you, of course, you both have had great success at the highest level and had success on the biggest occasions of the year. But Byron, you were a player who went hard at the ball all the time, and if there just happened to be someone in the road, they copped it. Do you think you'd be playing much footy the way footy is now and the way that the game is governed?
I think Oh yeah, I think everyone knows that, knows the answer to that. But yeah, like what he said, it is frustrating watching most of it today. I think the rules have changed obviously too much.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe sometimes even the umpires get frustrated and forget about what they're calling and what's not. On the ball or what's
Yes.
I reckon they're confused as well with all the rule changes. But yeah, with me personally, I reckon it has probably gone soft a bit, but that's we've got their own reasons as to why it's maybe gone that way with all their head.
Yeah, head knocks. We've got to look after people with their head. Yeah. There's no doubt about that. But there's ways of doing that. Well, Winston, have you enjoyed being back at grassroots footy? Seeing a couple of good young sides having a bit of a dip today. You've been enjoying the footy?
Yeah, look, I'm a country boy from down Naaguja. Played my footy in Naaguja, and just the country football environment, it brings back memories, and I just love the atmosphere where we're able to park your cars around the boundary, and there's not. I don't think there's footy like it. Country footy is so good to watch and be a part of.
Well, Winston Abraham and also Byron Pickett, stars of the footy careers, and thank you so much for spending some time with us on Radio Mama, and enjoy the second half, and thanks for being with us today.
No worries, thanks.
Yeah, thanks guys, thanks very much.
There we have it, two of the legends of the game spending time at Mazzucchelli Oval as we're about to get this third quarter underway today in this big one out at Mazzucchelli Oval. And at half-time, the game is underway now. Chapman Valley 11-11, 77. Rovers are 1-5-11, but we're back into it. And we're underway in this third term with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors, the premiership quarter. As the ball goes forward, Chapman Valley have it on half-forward, picked up by Mosley. Kicks it in towards half-forward and finds Schofield. Jaden Schofield plays on to Kim Schofield. Kimball Schofield handballs the ball forward, and Tyron Papertalk fell over at the crucial stage. He was running back, his eyes lit up, and the 50-gamer fell over, and a minus score results. So another minus score on the board, and the scoreboard rolls over, and it is Chapman Valley 11-12, 77. They lead Rovers 1-5, and we're underway in this term, and we're first minute and a half in term number 3.
Yeah, for Drennan O'Malley Motors and better players for mine for Rovers in that particular quarter, Glenn, to take a timely mark in defence. And players that figured in the first term, Sean Brennan, Blake Tazewell, Clayton Parford, Kobe Bursell and Jamie Geyer working overtime.
As the ball in the defence of Rovers, where it has been for much of the day, the ball comes out of defence, goes up towards centre wing. We'll quickly go around the grounds and give you an update of what is happening at other games. As the ball goes the way of Schofield, Kim gives it away of the player there in Papertalk. This time Papertalk draws a free kick against him. He was tackled or has the ball slapped away from him, or his arm slapped, and the free kick goes the way of Tyron Papertalk. So Tyron Papertalk has an opportunity to score a goal. Tyron has kicked 2 this afternoon in his 50th game. He's 45 metres out. He's a beautiful kicker of the football when he gets onto it. And there goes his kick. Looks pretty good off the boot. Goal umpire signals so 1 point only. And the scoreboard rolls over again for Bambi. And it is 11 goals, 13, 79 to Rovers, 1 goal, 3, 9. As we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirralee War, the member for Geraldton. Looking at other games, at half-time up at Mullawar, Towns are 12-7, 79, and Mullawar a 1 goal, 4, 10. And looking at the half-time score, Railways are 8 goals, 3 to Brigades, 5-5. So that's the score at Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground.
Azevedo has it in defence, gets it to a teammate. Down the wing it comes from Brennan, but he loses direction and kicks it out on the full. Interesting and good interview, Glenn, there with both Pickett and Winston Abrahams, Glenn. And I know it was a leading question by yourself, but interesting to hear their comments on modern day football.
It is, isn't it? 2 of the great names in local footy and AFL footy, of course, and it's interesting to hear how they view the game as former greats. Ball comes back into play, goes the way of Horseman. He's thrown to the ground and caught in possession. So the umpire has given a free kick. It'll go the way of the Rovers player there, and Jake Criddle. Good tackle put on him. as the ball comes back into play, and the ball goes up towards centre wing, and Sam Solomon puts good pressure on. So too does the player there in Ringo McKenna. And whistle on play, and a free kick goes the way of Solomon. Solomon kicks it up towards Schofield, and Jaden Schofield is marked 50 metres from goal, 45-degree angle, gets a short pass and finds a teammate all on his own, and that teammate is Dylan Williamson. Bit hard to pick up the numbers on the Chapman Valley Guernseys on their Indigenous numbers.
Black numbers on,
they need to be white,
blue
don't they?
Backing, yes.
So the player with the ball is Chapman Valley, but they're offline, 1 point only, so Chapman Valley wasting opportunities. Chapman Valley on the Bambi scoreboard go to 11 goals, 14, 80. They lead Rovers 1 goal, 3-9. And just quickly recapping those scores from other games, Towns 12-7 lead Mullawa 1 goal, 4. And the final game that we're talking about today is the game up at the recreation ground, and at half-time, Railways 8-3 to Brigades 5-5.
Better players in the second term, Glenn, for you?
Well, it's a pretty good performance from Chapman Valley. I thought the Schofield boys continued to play well. Tommy Walker, Mitch Thompson and Mick Horseman continues to play well. And I thought Cooper Omadai came into contention in that quarter.
Brennan off the half-back flank, sends it further afield. I was having a bit of control in defence, but getting it up over the halfway line is the task that they had to have ahead of them, as it goes the way now of the Demons custodian, who sends it into the half-forward area, inside the forward 50, fewer and far between. This has happened. The free kick has gone the way of a Rovers player, and he will have a shot on goal. So suddenly Rovers have themselves in a reasonable position as they have a shot on goal. Young Oliver Campbell, son of the great Jamie Campbell, gives it away to Azevedo. A nice kick by Azevedo toward the big sticks. Is there a mark inside the goal face? I should say inside the goal square. It's picked up by the youngster. Libowesky has a shot on goal, but it's quickly dragged off the ball and kicks it out of bounds. So the ball about to be brought back in now. In fact, it was a point for Chapman Valley. It's Simpson who's going to kick it in for Chapman Valley. Kobe, I should say, Bo Simpson. No, the ball went out of play, so it's about to be thrown in. So no point was recorded there. So my bad. So the ball about to be thrown in now from the northern end of a sun-drenched Mazzucchelli Oval this afternoon. Big crowd attendance. It is Indigenous round in the GNFL. Both Rovers and Chapman Valley have had the great Indigenous players in both of their ranks over their careers. I'll name some names from Rovers. You've got Ryan Roberts, and also a couple of others that come to mind in the Demons' den, but also Chapman Valley. You've got Durkee, Kickett, both premiership players, and many others. The ball in the middle now going the way of Chapman Valley. Thompson puts it onto his boot. Sends it inside the corridor. It's picked up by Simpson. It's a youngster, the youngest in the Simpson clan. He puts it into the half-forward area. Jaden Schofield's there, quickly set upon. He tries to bring the ball to ground, but it's curtailed his efforts as the defender for Rovers works overtime. The ball will be thrown up just outside the forward 50 for Chapman Valley. So Ryder, of course, from Rovers, and some other names from Chapman Valley too.
Well, Clinton Wolfe, of course, also Callum Papertalk, Richard Bartlett at the moment. Adrian Bartlett, his dad, was also a pretty fine footballer. You see Schofield kicked towards goal. And you touched on the other players, Kim Dick and Gary Durkee were a couple that come to mind.
So certainly have made an impact in the GNFL, and as I mentioned, Adrian Bartlett on Sportsjet Saturday today, Glenn, it is a reflection of the population mass we have here, and we're very lucky to have
fortunate,
a lot of Indigenous people in this particular part of the world.
Some of the great players for Chapman Valley, Clint Hansen was one of the greats. He played a lot of consecutive games for Chapman Valley. Sensational player. Rodney Little was another one, and Colin Jones. They were a wonderful group. They all came over from Rovers and they spent a lot of time here, had a lot of success here, and they still have a lot of friends in this community.
Of course, you had the Whitby brothers at the Demons, who were good players in the late 70s and early 80s. I mentioned Dennis Roberts, who
wonderful player,
certainly one of the great players in the GNFL. He was pretty hard, wasn't he, Glenn?
Oh, he's a tough footballer. You don't go around. I'd go around him. I wouldn't go through him.
That's
or
for
anywhere
sure.
near him.
And you talked about Rodney Joseph this morning.
Yeah, Rodney Joseph, he was an excellent player, exciting player, very, very skilled.
Go, Gadget Arms, didn't he?
He was just a quality player and very, very exciting to watch. And we've been very, very fortunate over the years. And of course, we've had Liam and Ryan in recent times, but we've had Darren and Bobby Ryan. There weren't many better footballers than Bob and Darren Ryan.
No.
As we see Schofield go forward again, ball runs towards the point post and a minus score results. And Chapman Valley get another score on the board, on the Bambi scoreboard. Chapman Valley go to 11 goals, 15, 81. And we have Rovers who are 1 goal, 5. So that's the scoreline as we see the game underway in this third quarter, the premiership quarter. But it's been a pretty lacklustre affair to this point, and no side being able to get too many scores on the board.
The ball goes down the outer side to which we're broadcasting this afternoon, and usually is the inboard side for Mazzucchelli Oval. But the ball coming from Chapman Valley, inside it goes now. Thompson quickly puts it onto his boot. The mark is then taken by a player, and we're talking about paper talk. It was easy peasy for him. He just sort the lace out kick and gobbled it up. So Tyrone Paper Talk playing his 50th game, going for goal number 3, I think. Then, if
yes, going for goal number 3, yes.
Tyrone Paper Talk kicking toward the northern end. They said no breeze here this afternoon. Beautiful conditions. It's going to go short to one side and through for the minus score. So this is the third quarter, the premiership quarter they call it. Brought to you by Dredden O'Malley Motors.
Yes, so 11 goals, 16. So Chapman Valley have added 5 points in this quarter. So they haven't really got efficiency around goal. So 11-16 to 1-5 in favour of the Royals as Chapman Valley go forward again. Kim Schofield goes with a short pass and finds Jaden. And Jaden will shoot on goal from 45 metres, kicking to the southern end. Beautiful day for football. Rovers, as we talked about at half-time, have certainly come to play this afternoon. There's nothing wrong with their endeavour. They're showing glimpses of their class, but Chapman Valley just having the experience and the skill to execute a little bit better. Schofield is one of those players. He shoots on goal, the ball fades away to the right-hand side again. So another minus score. So maybe there is breeze out there, Peter, that I can't see. But 11 goals, 17, 83 for Chapman Valley. And we have Rovers 1 goal, 5, 11.
Coming from a south-easterly direction, very light, Glenn, but yes, I can see a bit of mesh close to where we're broadcasting, fluttering somewhat as the ball comes out of defence now. Rovers probably playing to capacity at this stage, very young side out there on the park. Up the half-back line it comes now. Brennan, the young captain, sends it further afield. Goes away now of that player and a vast where he was, and I'm talking about Farron Parfitt. Parfitt now gets it, collects it, gets it to this player, Nally. Nice kick into the full forward area. Mark Hibby timing for the Demons. Goes to ground just outside the forward 50. Come back the way of Rovers. They can set something up here. A mark will be timely. Inboard it goes. A little bit will-o'-the-wisp goes to run onto it in Damien Simpson. Controlled his efforts, so loses possession. The defence for Chapman Valley under pressure, try and get it out, but Rovers are desperate as they send it forward again into space. The young Demons working hard, but a free kick has been found and will go the way of Rovers. So get another goal be coming for the Demons as they find yet another space in the half forward area. Players setting themselves. Nelly at the back of the pack, came in a little bit too late. His opposite number takes the mark in front. Chapman Valley out of danger now as they switch play to the broadcast side of Mazzucchelli Oval. Down the ground they come. This guy, Thompson, he's had a few possessions this afternoon, probably one of their biggest possession begetters on the parkland as he sends it inboard now. A kick into the half-forward area. Jaden Schofield, easy. Unselfishly again, gives it away to a teammate who 2 plays on, sees player running onto the ball but unable to mark it as fisted away by the Rovers player, but Simpson picks it up again. It's a youngster, the younger Simpson, who shoots on goal. Through for the minor score. Yeah,
11 goals, 18, 84. So Chapman Valley in this quarter, kicked some 7 points in the first part of this third quarter. So yeah, 17. They've scored 18 scoring points, but they've kicked 7 in this quarter.
Then I asked Byron his relationship to Cozzy. It's his nephew.
Yes, lovely story. And of course, Cozzy Pickett signed that massive, big contract again.
didn't he?
So he's in there for a lifetime at the Melbourne. So yeah, a big call because there was a lot of talk that naturally
He'd want to come
Fremantle and West Coast would be very keen to get him back home.
Chapman Valley shot on goal here, Glenn.
Well, that'll be a good goal.
It is a good goal.
After 7 points, Chapman Valley get a massive goal there from Cooper Omadai, and they needed that
Through
one.
the eye of a needle.
It did. So Chapman Valley go to 12 goals 18. 12 goals 18 on the Bambi scoreboard. Rovers are 1 goal 5, and really Rovers have got the work ahead of them. Chapman Valley have had 30 scoring shots to some 6, and really Chapman Valley made a little bit of awkwardness by not kicking enough goals quickly enough or straight enough. And as I said, they kicked 7 points in this quarter, but now they've kicked 1 goal 7, and this is the third quarter, the premiership quarter.
Byron was saying that because he is his nephew by his sister, and it's interesting because Indigenous people, Yamatji people, sometimes take their mother's name.
Right, yeah, they do, yes. So ball back in the centre. We're underway again in this third term. Once again, Horseman gets it down. Ball socket forward, goes to a Chapman Valley player who has the ball held to him. The umpire will come in and throw the ball up in the centre of the ground. Beautiful conditions for football here at Mazzucchelli Oval, and we do know there's a good front coming tomorrow afternoon, late. So this is the calm before the storm. It's going to be quite a blustery front, I believe, and hopefully some good rain. As the ball comes the way of Rovers now, they try to slap the ball forward through Sheldon Nally. He's a good, strong player. In goes the Rovers player, has the ball held to him. Didn't have prior opportunity. The umpire will come in and throw the ball up. So we're heading into time on.
Shows no fear. There's not much of him there.
No, that's the good thing about these young Rovers players. They're in against the pretty physical combat this afternoon. And we see a young player, Damien Simpson, again tackled, has the ball held to him. So the ball will be thrown up again by the umpire. It's in the forward 50 for the Rovers side. Rovers going to the northern end in this third quarter. Ball picked up by the Chapman Valley defender, has the ball held to him. Umpire said he had no prior opportunity, and the umpire will throw the ball up right here at half forward for Rovers. Big pack around the ball, 7 or 8 players from each club around the ball. Ball slapped forward by Horseman, goes the way of a player running forward. Whistle on play, the umpire's letting it flow, and big pack around the ball. Rovers pick it up. Rovers player has the ball held to him. Umpire will come in and throw the ball up again. So it's being pretty congested in this little passage of play, but Rovers are fighting to hold on.
Ball coming out of that a group of players, and as Glenn said, Rovers desperate to get another score on the board. They have been endeavouring, a very young side. We talked to coaches Corey Smith before the game, a lot of youngsters coming in to get blooded at the Demons Den this afternoon, but Chapman Valley their sights on another finals campaign, so their purpose is a little bit different to the Red and Blacks, both wearing their Indigenous Guernseys today. Pretty impressive. This ball's about to be thrown up just in front of our broadcast position. The Great Southern Fuels Classic Clashes truck. This ball goes away now of Rovers into space. Can they set something up? Here he is. Can he move into an open goal? We're talking about Azevedo. Goes off the side of his boot, but I think that might have been intended. He sent it into the forward pocket, looking for a player in there to take the mark. That player couldn't do so. It's relieved quickly by the defence for Chapman Valley, and they get out of jail as they send it inboard. Rovers trying to keep it in their forward 50, and that is Farron Parfitt, who worked hard, doubled up, got the ball once, lost it, got it again. Ball is centred inside the corridor, sort of making life difficult for the defenders are the Rovers young forwards, but Chapman Valley have it now as they go through the middle of the ground. A player is almost caught in possession, gives it away to Jaden Schofield now. He finds space, always does. A beautiful handball to a teammate in Solomon. Solomon puts it onto his boot into the half-forward area. A mark here would be costly for the Demons. It comes, bounces in front, an intended target, and over the white line in the full-forward area for Chapman Valley.
Into time on now in this third quarter, the premiership quarter, with thanks to Dredon O'Malley Motors. We only had 1 goal scored in this quarter, which is a bit hard to believe, but a good goal it was. And the ball will be brought back into play, and the ball goes forward again, slapped forward, goes the way of Rovers youngster, gets the ball forward, and sock it again as the ball goes up the ground, and it's taken now by Rovers player there in Farron Parfitt. So Farron Parfitt with the ball on half back. So Parfitt goes with a short pass out wide, finds its teammate right on the boundary line, clubroom side. So Rovers are going towards the Northampton end. Won't be a long quarter because there hasn't been a lot of scoring in this quarter. 1 goal 8 in favour of Chapman Valley in this quarter. Ball comes back into play as Chapman Valley rewind and go forward now through Sam Solomon. Sam Solomon kicks the ball in towards half forward, pack into the air, and up they go. And Chapman Valley have taken a mark. It's taken by the full back who's gone down the field, and Jaden Thompson is that player. And Jaden Thompson has the opportunity to kick his first goal of the afternoon. And naturally, as full back, he doesn't kick too many goals. So Jaden Thompson, 25 metres out, directly in front, kicking to the southern end. There goes his kick. He says that's how it's done to the forwards. After you've kicked 8 points, I'll show you how to kick a goal. So Jaden Thompson gets another score on the board for Chapman Valley. And on the Bambi scoreboard, it is Chapman Valley, 13 goals, 18, 96. And they lead Rovers, who are 1 goal 5, 11.
Drennan O'Malley Motors brings you the third quarter, the premiership quarter here on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. Hello to John, Ron, Rachel and all the team. If you're looking for a used car, what better dealership could you not go to than Drennan O'Malley? And you'll find them on Chapman Road. Ball coming back to the middle now. Chapman Valley scoring the last score, and Rovers really have a mountain to climb, and this game is certainly not going to alter in difference, one would think, as the game unfolds in the third term, into the latter stages of the third term, one would think. Chapman Valley get it out of the middle, or do they? That's been the trouble for Rovers today. If they'd got it out of the middle a little bit more, things could be a little bit more easy, but a very undermanned midfield, or should I say inexperienced midfield compared to their opponents, as the ball goes forward now. Rovers defence do well on this occasion as they send it forward, but player is able to work and get the ball out. Chapman Valley on this occasion, and that's Sam Solomon. He's had a few kicks this afternoon, Solomon, as he finds this player in Simpson. The youngster, Kane Simpson. Short kick, he gets it to Papertor. So it's interesting. I didn't think Kane Simpson probably from that position would pass it off, but he did, Kane. And he's passed it off to his full forward, and of course Papertalk in his 50th game. I think what's he got? 2 goals to this point.
It's two goals to this point.
Yeah, and he's going for goal number 3. So Tyron Papertalk kicking toward the southern end, well, surely in scoring distance, and doesn't let us down, and puts through his third goal of the afternoon.
Yeah, so the scoreboard rolls over for Chapman Valley, and on the Bambi scoreboard, Chapman Valley go to 14 goals, 18, 102. They lead Rovers 1 goal, 5, 11. So in this quarter, Chapman Valley making the scoreboard look a little bit more attractive in this third term. Now they've added 3 goals, 7 in this quarter. So Chapman Valley kicked 3 goals, 7 in the term, and Rovers haven't added to their tally.
You're listening to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. Friends on Sunday returns tomorrow on Radio Mama, and also Radio Geraldton. We're joined by, I think I'll be on my lonesome tomorrow, which will be interesting, but I'll have a few people to talk to, some music to play, and some fun to be had. So don't forget to join us for Friends on Sunday from 10 o'clock tomorrow, only on Radio Mama and also Radio Geraldton. Ball back in the middle now, players setting themselves. Rovers can go forward now and set something up. One of their first breaks, or a few breaks out of the middle into the full forward area. Mark here be timely. Back of the pack, the player awaits, but goes through just barging through that Damien Simpson. He doesn't want to give up as he continues to push it forward through a host of players. They do softer forward to the Demons, and it comes off hands and through for the minor score.
So Rovers are 1 goal, 6, 12. They trail Chapman Valley 14 goals, 18, 102. Looking forward to 3/4 time scores from other grounds. As they come to hand, we'll bring them to you. But in other games at half time, it was Towns in control of the game up at Mullawar, and Railways 3 goals up against Brigades at half time. They were the scores at half time. So looking forward to the 3/4 time updates as the ball goes to centre wing. Clubroom side, picked up by Jaden Schofield. He finds Cooper Omadai on half forward, looking for some movement up forward now. Finds the player there in paper talk, carries that player. So Rovers can regroup with a slap forward. Goes the way of Geyer. He goes out wide, finds a teammate now, running hard with the ball. Good bit of play there from the Rovers player in Shane Hatch. Sheldon Elliott was, in fact, gets up towards half forward. In goes Walker for Chapman Valley. Pack around the ball. Umpire says, well, give it to me. I'll throw the ball up. So another congested bit of play as the player fell on top of the ball and didn't get it out. Umpire has no option to come in and throw the ball up again. Ball comes the way of Chapman Valley's Moody. Moody kicks it in towards the centre of the ground, looking there for Omadai. Omadai almost a good mark. Ball comes to ground. In goes Chapman Valley player, working hard in the player there who gets it to Ringo McKenna. McKenna gets it up the ground to Schofield. Kim Schofield feeds it out to Forrester. Forrester gives it away of Tyron Paper Talk, and Tyron Paper Talk was held while not in possession, and Tyron Paper Talk will go back and shoot on goal right on the siren in what has been a pretty good quarter from both clubs, but Chapman Valley putting the pressure on with a few goals in the second half of this third quarter, the premiership quarter for Drennan O'Malley Motors, as Tyron Paper Talk goes back to line up for his fourth goal. Be a pretty good kick from here. He's about 50 metres out, kicking towards the southern end. So Tyron Paper Talk. It will be a special game for him because it is his 50th game, but his teammates are getting in behind him. If he can kick this goal, there goes the kick from Paper Talk. It fades away to the right-hand side, 1 point only. And on the Bambi scoreboard at three-quarter time, it is Chapman Valley, 14 goals, 19, 103, and they lead their opposition Rovers 1 goal, 6-12. You're attuned to Radio Mama, your home of GNFL football. And good afternoon. Welcome back. Three-quarter time of the football. Radio Mummy, your home of GNFL footy. Drill and O'Malley Motors Game Day. Glenn Bunnan and Peter Forenza for round 12 for the Geraldton Sporting Aboriginal Corporation. Of course, it is the GNFL Indigenous round, and we're broadcasting live from Mazzucchelli Oval with the second place Chapman Valley hosting the 7th position Rovers. And the scoreline looks a little bit like that this afternoon. At three-quarter time, Chapman Valley 14 goals, 20-104. Lead Rovers 1 goal, 6-12. So pretty comprehensive margin in favour of Chapman Valley as we go into the last quarter. Our quarter time summaries with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirralie War, the member for Geraldton. Looking at the goal scorers, and they've shared it around pretty well. Chapman Valley, for Chapman Valley, Kim Schofield has kicked 3. Tyron Papertalk has kicked 3. Cooper Omadai has kicked 2. Mitchell Thompson has kicked 2. Singles to Kane Simpson, Jaden Schofield, Sam Solomon and Jaden Thompson. For Rovers, their solitary goal scorer at this stage is Damien Simpson. And Peter, you're looking after the contenders for the Skitters Restaurant Player of the Day. Who have you like from Rovers this afternoon?
On that term, Farron Parfitt stepped into the breach, moving into a defensive role. Jamie Geyer, Damien Simpson, who's the only goal scorer. Clay Zavato had a few possessions, and Sean Brennan is quite consistent. For
Chapman Valley, Mick Hosman, Mitch Thompson, Tommy Walker, Kim and Jaden Schofield, Dylan Williamson, Sam Solomon and Reece Moody working hard. Ball back in the centre, underway in this final quarter as umpire Osborne puts the ball into the air. And this final term, with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants, as Azevedo gets the ball forward for Rovers. Nobody home there, and Chapman Valley mock it up, and it goes the way of Forrester. He gives it to Moody. Moody goes up the ground, finds a player in Horseman. Horseman goes by hand to Harrison Lane. Harrison Lane gets it up towards the player there in Thompson. He gets it up the ground to Omadai. Omadai kicks it further up the ground, and the whistle on play. A free kick has gone the way of, or the mark has gone the way of Simpson. He kicks it in towards the man of the moment in Tyron Papertalk, who has kicked 4 this afternoon. He's had an opportunity probably to kick double that. So Tyron Papertalk is marked right on the boundary line. So he's on the right side for a right footer, kicking towards the northern end. So Tyron Papertalk, can he add to the tally this afternoon? There goes his kick. Looks pretty good off the boot. A very good goal. And Tyron Papertalk has his 5th of the afternoon. In fact, he gets his 4th of the afternoon. 4th of the afternoon. So a very good goal there to Tyron Papertalk. So looking at the scoreboard as it rolls over, Chapman Valley now are 15 goals 20, which is 110, and Rovers are 1 goal 6-12. So that's the score. Looking at other games, we haven't got the three-quarter time from Mullawar yet, but we can tell you at Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground, three-quarter time, and Railways look like they're on target to continue. Railways 11-6, lead Brigades 5-6. So a good margin there in favour of the Railway side. We haven't had a score from the Towns Mullawar game, but at half-time it was 12 goals to 1 in favour of the Bulldogs. Towns.
This quarter brought to you by GT Russell Chartered Accountants. Hello to Russell, I should say Grant Russell and the team. Ball coming out of the middle now. Rovers get another score on the board to make it a little bit more respectable. Azevedo stepped up the ante somewhat. This player is capable of so much, I believe. But he's yet to deliver in my eyes as he comes down the middle of the ground. Players setting themselves up. They go. Rovers mark here will be timed. He goes to ground. Rovers still have opportunity to do something here, but the defence for Chapman Valley resolute in their attempts to bottle the ball up somewhat, and it will be thrown up just inside the forward 50. As mentioned, this quarter brought to you by GT Russell Chartered Accounts. Of course, it's tax time, and Grant is the man to see if you want your tax certainly sorted out for you. Well, he sorts it out for me and a lot of other people as they have a shot on goal now. And that was a fair shot by Farron Parfitt, but on this occasion a little bit too wayward and through for the minor score.
Okay, so another minor score, and that takes the score to 1 goal 7 for Rovers. They trail Chapman Valley 15 goals 20 as we go around the grounds. We can tell you up at Mullawar, Towns have had goal kicking practice this week because they are kicking beautifully. Towns at three-quarter time have kicked 18 goals, and Mullawar have kicked 3. So that's the story up there at that game. Towns 18 goals to Mullawar 3, so a big margin in favour of the Towns. They're 110, Mullawar 27.
Azevedo now Scoring distance, or just that. He goes a little bit short. He sends it inboard. He's looking for support in there, and one of those players he wants to run onto it is Farron Parfitt. He's unable to do so. The ball spills free, coming toward the boundary near the goal, I should say, scoreboard side of the ground. Schofield, that's Kim Schofield, sells a dummy, puts it into space, finds his player in Merigliotta. He too is unlucky. Goes away with Schofield once again, gets it out to Solomon. Down the wing he goes, running out his paper talk and almost gobbles it up. Almost took what he didn't take what he should have, but does well to earn his way back into that passage of play. Gets the ball again. Goes back the way of Schofield now. That's Kim. He judges the passage of play, skips around two players, gets it to a teammate. A teammate switches play inboard. The mark is taken by the Chapman Valley player, who will now shoot on goal. And that player will shoot on goal and score the umpteenth goal for Chapman Valley this afternoon. There's no breeze to speak of here this afternoon either. He comes in now. That's Evan Whitley. Evan Whitley to shoot on goal. He's about 45 metres out. Looks pretty good off the boot, but no, got rid of it a little bit too early, Glenn, and threw for the minor score.
And on the Bambi scoreboard, Chapman Valley go to 15 goals, 21, which is 111.
Ewan to his mum, not Evan. Ewan Whitley.
Yeah. There goes the ball back into play. So it is 15-21 to 1-7 as Rovers have an opportunity now. They have the ball on half forward, kicking it up along the clubroom side of the ground, looking there for some run. Ball comes back to Chapman Valley. Chapman Valley under pressure, but they break the tackle. Handball goes away, and Chapman Valley have the ball on half forward. Reece Moody feeds the handball out to Kim Schofield. Kim Schofield centres the ball, finds Rory Merigalotta. Kim Schofield runs past and receives, kicks it in towards the forward pocket, looking again for Paper Talk. Paper Talk can't put a handle on it. Slaps the ball out to a teammate. That teammate goes looking back towards Paper Talk. Ball very close to the boundary line. But the boundary line comes into play. The field boundary umpire was there, and the player was saying it wasn't out.
The key
boundary umpire says it was.
A great player is balance and poise, Glenn, and Kim Schofield has all of that, and that's why he's won 2 clean medals.
So the boundary umpire to put the ball back into play. It's about 30 metres around from the right point post at the northern end of the ground. So Chapman Valley looking to continue their percentage build, as Towns are up at Mullawar. Ball comes back towards Schofield, who feeds it out to a teammate who screws it around the corner, and reading the ball best is Cooper Omadai. And Cooper Omadai is marked and has an opportunity to kick another goal. He's been very effective this afternoon.
Strong and talented forward is Omadai, and that was a clever mark. He really had his opponent at sea, Glenn, had only eyes for the ball, and marked one-handed, incidentally.
So Cooper Omadai kicking his third goal with that one. And the scoreboard keeps rolling over for Chapman Valley. So Chapman Valley have started the quarter where they left off. They've added another score on the board. They've kicked 2 in this term already. And a good goal there to Cooper Omadai. And the scoreboard on the Bambi scoreboard sees Chapman Valley go to 16 goals, 21, which is some 117 points. And they lead Rovers, who are 1 goal 7.
Gerald Hotel, always a great night out, and on the rooftop there, the Old Man and the Sea will be a nice place to be tonight. As Glenn said, they have a few fires up there to keep things nice and warm. Bevies are great, and the food's even better. That's the Gerald Hotel, the Old Man and the Sea. You'll find them right in the centre of downtown Geraldton.
So Chapman Valley continue on their merry way, and Cooper Omadai getting a very good goal there. So Chapman Valley have started the quarter pretty well. So we saw Paper Talk kick the first of the quarter, and that was followed up by Cooper Omadai. So Tyron Paper Talk and Omadai have played their part pretty well in the forward line. So the ball comes forward again to Chapman Valley. Once again, it's Cooper Omadai on centre wing. On the scoreboard side, gets a short pass, finds Kim Schofield. He feeds it out to a teammate. That teammate couldn't put a handle on it. Rovers can regroup. Ball goes now towards Jaden Schofield. Jaden Schofield goes back in, gets a handball forward, gives it the way of Rory Merigalotta. Kim Schofield shoots on goal, ball smothered off the boot, and Rovers give away the ball, or they see the ball across the boundary line, and the boundary umpire will come and throw the ball in once again. So Chapman Valley have it in their forward 50, and that's where the game has been for most of the day.
Yes, it certainly has, and Chapman Valley's forward 50, that is. The ball coming in now, players setting themselves. There they go, it's knocked down by the big ruckman horseman for the Valley, but going the way now of Tazewell. 2 young ruckmen going at it this afternoon. and probably one of the pleasant contests to watch in this game that's been a little bit one-sided. That's an understatement as the ball goes away with the Demons now. So one of their few sorties forward, and the one of Isaac Gentle now in his first game. The debutant sends it into space. No one to run onto it though. Defence for Chapman Valley. Easily mop it up as they send it back along the half-back flank. Running on down the wing now. Custodian for Chapman Valley finds Schofield. That's Jaden Schofield wearing the orange boots. He sends it down to Kim. Well, Kim has his nine to mum and dad. He gets it away now to Jaden. Jaden down the line now. Nice lead. A nice mark taken by Merrick Liotta. He plays on now to a teammate. That's Jaden Schofield. He continues to run on and offer his services, going the way of Paper Talk. Paper Talk sends it inboard. A shot on goal by Chapman Valley. Goes across the face of goal in the end. Looking for that player in Simpson. That's Kane Simpson, not equal to the task. The ball spills free. Will he get another bite of the cherry? Not on your life, says Bursell. Puts it on his boot for the Demons and gets out of danger.
Yeah, he kicks it up the ground, but there's nobody home for the Rovers side, so the ball comes back in. But once again, Rovers read it best. Picked up by Azevedo. Azevedo goes out towards the clubroom side, finds a teammate running with the ball now, and Rovers have an opportunity to go forward. Once again, Tommy Walker, who's been good this afternoon, pretty steady. He goes backwards to go forward. Chapman Valley being able to do that this afternoon. They get the ball up along the boundary line this time. Chapman Valley have it. They slap it back to each other, and Chapman Valley working hard, very close to the boundary line. Ball's in the centre now. Centre wing, that is. Comes in towards the centre of the ground looking for Ringo McKenna. Can he put a handle on it? He does. The captain gets the ball up towards half forward. Finds Jaden Schofield. Schofield's still 60 metres from goal. Looking for some movement. Gets a short bit of movement there from Omadai. Omadai read the play beautifully.
Dangerous combination, those two, aren't they?
They are. So starting to get into some practice as they try to smarten up their forward line. And Cooper Omadai, who has kicked 3 goals this afternoon. He is a fair way out from goal. He's a good 45, 50 metres out from goal. Kicking towards the Northampton end, or the northern end of Mazzucchelli Oval. The Oval's in beautiful condition.
Oh, is it ever?
Sensational conditions for footy, as Omadai looking to put another score on the board for his side. And the ball fades away to the right-hand side. 1 point only for that effort. So on the Bambi scoreboard, Chapman Valley go to 16 goals, 22, which is 118. They lead Rovers 1 goal 7, which is 13.
There you go, Glenn. The
I'm pretty good, yeah.
This
well, I'm
afternoon.
lucky it was only 1-7. I would have been struggling.
Hey, where are we headed next week, Glenn?
Well, we're heading up to Northampton. Northampton play Towns.
Looking forward heading to the northern town.
So we go to another northern town, and we go to Northampton next week. Should be a very entertaining game of footy. We know that Towns are on the improve.
Yeah, so they're keen to make an impression up there, wouldn't they?
They will, and they're chasing wins games next weekend. Chapman Valley play Railways. That game is at Mazzucchelli Oval, which will be a beauty, first against second. Mullawar play Brigades. That'll also be a very good contest. That game is at Mullawar, and our game for Radio Mama, Northampton hosting Towns.
For the Bulldogs is the club would be pretty happy to know that they're back playing finals footy.
Yes, it's been a while, and they are certainly in the top 4, and whether they can... They're in 3rd spot at the moment, and they'll stay in 3rd spot.
They won't step out of 4th,
but
that's for sure.
The pressure is, and of course they're trying to pressure for that 2nd spot, but a bit of work to do. But if they can keep winning, that's all you can do, isn't it? Keep that pressure on. As we see Rovers get let the pressure off because they kick poorly. Ball goes out of bounds on the full, so Chapman Valley will be able to bring the ball in the shadows of the Farrell stand. Comes towards the centre of the ground, and there he is, the man on his own. You wouldn't believe you'd have a player like that on his own, but he is.
Jaden Schofield.
Jaden Schofield breaks across the centre, takes one bounce, kicks it up towards full forward, looking up there for Paper Talk. He couldn't put a handle on it. He drops it, but he recovers well, gives it away of Omadai. Omadai feeds it out to the hard-running player there, Williamson. Williamson puts it on his left boot, kicks it towards half forward, picked up by the player in Whitley. He was offline. In fact, it was Mick Horseman who shot the ball forward, the ruckman, and Horseman drops short. Ball goes away now of Rovers. Rovers can clear, and the Rovers player working hard with the ball, gets the ball forward, and the ball very close to the boundary line, but Rovers have it. The Rover just in front of the Rovers coach's box, and Rovers kick it up towards half forward, but running with the flight of the ball is Jaden Schofield again. He's been outstanding,
Jacob Troy working very hard in defence there, Glenn.
Ball comes up, finds Kim Schofield, who feeds it out to the hard-running player there in Forrester. He gets it up the ground. In fact, it's Thompson gets it up the ground to Miragalotta. Miragalotta gets a short pass forward, looking up there for Nick Mosley. Mosley couldn't control the ball. Pack develops. Umpire will have to come in and throw the ball up. And the ball will be thrown up about 25 metres from the goal. And the umpire throws the ball up shortly. And Chapman Valley will look to go forward again.
Silhouettes here in front of our broadcast position this afternoon. It's under-edged Mazzucchelli Oval. They've seen Chapman Valley destroy the Demons here this afternoon. Hasn't happened very often in the last 20 years, but Chapman Valley and Rovers at opposite ends of the spectrum in recent times, as we see a shot at goal by Jaden Schofield. And
good goal.
It is a good goal on the run, more than 45 metres out, and the captain, courageous, scores again for the Royals.
So Chapman Valley on the Bambi scoreboard go to 17 goals 22, which is some 124 points. They lead Rovers 1 goal 7-13. So a very good win coming up for Chapman Valley. Looking at other scores at three-quarter time, with thanks to Kirrily War, the member for Geraldton, and also the City of Greater Geraldton. We can tell you at three-quarter time, Towns 18 goals, 110 to Mullawar 3-4-27. And they lead Towns on the way to a big win there. And at the recreation ground, Railways, 11 goals 6 lead Brigades 5 goals 6. So winners at this stage, it'd be fair to say it looks like Railways are on target and Towns and Chapman Valley very much on target to take the premiership points this week.
Yeah, time ticking away as we head to the final stages in this, the final term, brought to you by GT Russell Chartered Accountants. As I said, it is tax time, and Grant is certainly a man that knows all about tax and how to make sure you get the right situation for yourselves. So you can contact him or go and see him in Chapman Row, I should say Marine Terrace, Geraldton, not far from the Wharf Gates. As the ball comes out of defence now, and there he is, Jaden Schofield, probably now getting the most possessions on the park, but he's been sharing him with his brother as he gets it there, and Kim Schofield gives it away to a player in paper talk who's come right down the ground. Rory Miragalotta gets excited in front of goals and quickly gives it away to a teammate who sends it across the face once again. Chapman Valley endeavour to get it back into a scoring position, but the defence for Rovers has continued to work hard all day despite the scoreline being under immense pressure. Jamie Geyer and also Kobe Bursell, they'll be certainly important in Rovers' rebuild in coming years. Of course, Geyer, a premiership player, puts it straight down the throat of his opponents there, and they'll now have another shot on goal. And it is, I think,
Nick Mosley.
Nick Mosley now.
He's another backman who doesn't kick many goals, so they've moved him down there to give him an opportunity.
I hope you haven't put the mock on him, Glenn, because he's about to have a shot on goal from about 40 metres now, 35, kicking toward the northern end. So let's see what Mick Mosley can do here. He looks pretty confident. Let's see what he can do. As it comes off the boot, what does it look like? It looks like it's a shank. Oh no, it's through the middle. And Mick Mosley has scored probably one of his few goals, as the reception for that goal was pretty exciting by his teammates.
Yes, so another goal. Nick Mosley's first of the day. So Chapman Valley now have had 9 separate goal scorers, and Nick Mosley becomes a goal scorer. Chapman Valley now on the Bambi scoreboard are 18 goals 22, which is 130. They lead Rovers 1 goal 7-13. So a big win coming up for Chapman Valley. But Chapman Valley continue to share it around. In the first quarter, they kicked 5 goals. In the second quarter, they kicked 6 goals. In the third quarter, they kicked 4 goals 9. And in the last quarter, they have added another 4 goals 2. So Chapman Valley sharing the goals around. And there's still a little bit of time left in this last quarter, with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants on Drennan O'Malley Motors Game Day on Radio Mumma, your home of GNFL footy, for round 12, which is the all-important Indigenous round. And it's brought to you by the Geraldton Sporting Aboriginal Corporation. As Chapman Valley win the ball out of the centre, goes the way of Forrester, who gets it up towards Omadai, and of course it was Kim Schofield that started it all. Ball goes in towards the centre, ball slapped away. Goes the way of Lafayette there in Forrester. He feeds a handball out towards Mitch Thompson. Mitch Thompson kicks it towards the forward pocket, looking for Mick Horseman. And Mick Horseman has an opportunity now to kick a goal. Mick Horseman hasn't kicked a goal this afternoon. He was picked in the CBH Country All-Stars for the Colts competition this year, as the Colts...
It's unbelievable to think he's still a young man, Glenn.
Yeah, very, very young indeed. So He's certainly a very, very exciting young man on the rise. So let's have good luck to Horseman shooting on goal. Be a difficult kick for here because he's in the right forward pocket. He is a right footer. So there goes his kick, and he fades away to the right-hand side. Ball goes through for a minus score. And on the Bambi scoreboard this afternoon, Chapman Valley are 18 goals, 23, which is 131. They lead Rovers 1 goal, 7-13.
The ball coming out of defence now. Players setting themselves. Rovers just going through the motions. Chapman Valley going to have a big win here this afternoon. Percentage boost, which could play dividends in the Final Four analysis. So the ball goes toward the boundary and the dugout for the Rovers side. Coaches Brodie and Corey Smith, well, they've got plans ahead of them, but their plans may be a little bit different to Chapman Valley as they rebuild. The Demons have been depleted somewhat in recent times, but Glenn, they've got a big history of premierships over the last 20-odd years.
Yeah, despite the margin today, I've got to say I'm pretty excited about Rovers and some of the young players they've got. They've really got to keep working hard, and they've got to keep those players around the club, but there's some really exciting young players and some very, very talented young men. So they've got the core group, and they'll certainly need some help. They'll need some senior players to come in and help, I would say, in the not too distant future. But yeah, they've got some good signs, and the coaches and the club working hard to regroup and rebuild after a pretty stellar period where they won 3 grand finals in 5 years. So they're coming off that, and they're going forward in some regards. The ball goes the way of Merigalotta, and Merigalotta feeds a handball out now to the player there in Jaden Schofield, and Jaden Schofield shoots on goal. Jaden Schofield now has kicked 3, and his work rate has been outstanding this afternoon, and certainly goes into contention as the Skeeters player of the day. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
And whether he gets votes off the umpires is important too.
Yes, but they don't pick the Skeeters restaurant player of the day.
No, they don't. They don't have control over that, which is really good.
So on the scoreboard for Bambi, as we're heading to time on, it is Chapman Valley, 19 goals, 23, 137, and they lead Rovers 1 goal, 7-13. So a good goal there, another one to Jaden Schofield, and he's running just as hard at the end of the game as he was at the beginning, and that's the wonderful thing about him.
You're talking about Rovers a little bit earlier on, Glenn, and I've got connections, obviously, as you know, through family, and my brother has played, you know, he's a life member of the Rover Football Club, so my parents, so it's a tough period for the club and for them, but resilience, belief, and, just a bit of heart is going to have to be with the Demons going forward, and it'll see them through, no doubt.
I've got no doubt, as you know as well as I do, that they've been around for a long time. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. They'll just keep redeveloping and rebuilding, and we wish them well in that rebuild. Ball goes the way of Kim Schofield. He gets a handball away, and no, he didn't get a handball away. The free kick has gone the way of Azevedo. Azevedo gets the ball up the ground, and we see Rovers go forward through River Sandals, gives it away there to Isaac Gentle in his first league game. But Tommy Walker stands in his way, and Tommy Walker gets the ball back towards half-back where he finds Mick Horseman. Horseman gets it up the ground and finds Cooper Omadai. Cooper Omadai with the ball, puts it on his left boot, centres the ball again, finds Ewan Whitley. Whitley with the ball, kicks it up towards centre wing, looking back for Mick Horseman. Mick Horseman has Sam Solomon on the wing. Sam Solomon stands his ground, takes the ball. So Chapman Valley moving the ball around now. They centre it again. In goes the Rovers player. Good mark taken there by Chapman Valley. And Chapman Valley player slips over, but he goes forward again, kicks it up towards half forward. Handball comes out, comes the way of Omadai. In fact, it's Reece Moody. Ball spills, and the umpire says, you had prior opportunity. Advantage rule comes, and we see Rovers go forward through Bursell, comes back to Bursell. Bursell from half forward, kicks it up towards full forward. Ball goes the way of Isaac Gentle in his first league game. Kicks it towards goal. Ball running free.
It's a goal.
And right on the line, I think he may have got it.
He's got it.
No, a good effort there from the Chapman Valley defenders. They worked very hard, but Isaac Gentle...
The fairy tale wasn't there.
Yes, he was going to get his first goal in league footy, but he's worked hard this afternoon. Ball comes out of defence, so we see Rovers are now 1 goal 8. They trail Chapman Valley 19-23. As we see Chapman Valley work the ball out of defence. Ball now with Bo Simpson. Bo's brother Kobe didn't come back on the ground after a hard clash earlier
And
in the
ladies
game.
and gentlemen, Glenn is not referring to history there, he's referring to the score.
Yes, the ball comes the way of the player there in Mick Horseman. Mick Horseman on half-back. He centres the ball, finds Omadai. So Chapman Valley
He's
have
had
used
a
this...
brilliant second half, hasn't he?
Yes, so Chapman Valley have been using the ball quite well. It's been nothing more than a training drill for them, really, as the ball goes up towards half forward and Sam Solomon takes a very strong mark on his own. And Sam Solomon's run himself into the ground.
Consistency and fitness are so important in footy, especially in the GNFL, aren't they, Glenn?
Well, they are, and that's the difference, isn't it? Like Chapman Valley run the game out, and they are running as hard now as they were at the start of the game, whereas Rovers perhaps lack that finesse and that fitness, and you're a little bit behind the 8 ball if you're not. So Sam Solomon lining up for goal. He's 35 to 40 metres out. The ball fades away to the left-hand side. Won't make the distance. Pack into the air. Ball runs free.
That's a goal.
Picked up by a player there for Rovers. In fact, Chapman Valley tried to soccer the ball through, but I think it was
It's a goal.
It is a goal. So a good goal there. I don't know quite who scored it, but a good goal from the Chapman Valley player, and he got it through for a 1 goal. So, that was Harrison Criddle. So another goal to Chapman Valley. So they've got a few goal scorers now. So Harrison Criddle gets another score on the board for Chapman Valley. And Chapman Valley made something out of nothing. So there's 10 separate goal scorers now. And Chapman Valley on the Bambi scoreboard. I've got their 20th goal of the afternoon. 20 goals, 23, which is 143. And they lead Rovers, who are 1 goal, 8, which is some 14.
Yeah, probably some record against the Demons, especially in recent times. The Valley looking pretty good, and it'll be a bit of a fill-up for them going into their game next week. Who did Chapman Valley play next
Railways.
week? Railways, so it's an important game. And it's the 3rd time they've played Railways
And
this
Railways
season.
have beaten Chapman Valley on every occasion
Yes,
to
they
this
have.
point. Yeah.
But this one will be at Railways, I think.
It will be at Railways, yes. That's
So
right.
it's at Red Dust Holdings, so an interesting game indeed. So the ball is stifled somewhat in the middle of the ground as we get to the latter stages of this, the final term for an O'Malley game day. Peter Friends and Glenn Barner bringing you all the action. A bit one-sided this afternoon, but as we've said, there has been some green shoots for the Rovers side, but Chapman Valley certainly are a tall, winding tree, because they are certainly headed for finals again as a player is dealt with as he gets rid of the ball. Player coming in late for Rovers there. We'll see a 50-metre penalty. So the ball come down the ground, and I think it's Omedy who will come down the ground and take the kick. So let's see. No, it's gone down to Paper Talk. Could be in better hands. So this could be one of the last kicks of the game, Glenn.
Yeah, Tyron has kicked 4 goals today.
He is going for goal number 5 and he's directly in front. He is almost 45 to 50 metres out, probably coming inside that as he kicks this one. So Tyron Paper Talk going for goal number 5 in his 50th game. Let's see what he can do. Looks pretty good off the boot. It's going to come in a little bit too wayward, and unfortunately for Tyrant, through for the minor score.
On the scoreboard for Bambi this afternoon, it is Chapman Valley 20-24 to Rovers 1 goal 8, so 144 plays 14 as the ball comes back into play. Dying stages of term number 4 as the ball goes the way of Chapman Valley. Picked up by Merigalotta. He screws the ball around and he's found a teammate. That teammate is Nick Mosley. Mosley runs into an open goal, off hands, 1 point only. So we see Chapman Valley get their 25th point of the day. So Chapman Valley 20 goals 25, 145, and Rovers are 1 goal 8, 14. So 9 scoring shots to some 45 scoring shots, and it's been pretty well one-way traffic. And Chapman Valley, to the Rovers' credit, have been putting good pressure on them in the defensive zone. But Chapman Valley still had plenty of opportunities, and of course weight of numbers has seen them do well.
Exactly, and by virtue of those weighted numbers, Johnny Gear is probably the best player on the ground this afternoon for Rovers. He's had a lot of pressure on him. He's been under the pump, and it's a hard day at the office, to say the least, Glenn.
It certainly is. We saw the player Kim Schofield got the ball across, and now Chapman Valley are lining up for goal again. They seem to be taking a lot of shots from goal, but a fair way out. So an opportunity now for Chapman Valley from 50 metres out. And once again, it's Mick Horseman shooting on goal. Ball goes up, in goes Paper Dog, almost the mark. Ball goes the way of Chapman Valley, goes the way of Rory Merigalotta. He read the ball off the pack, and Chapman Valley get another goal scorer. Rory Merigalotta gets the 21st goal of the afternoon for Chapman Valley. And on the scoreboard for Bambi this afternoon, Chapman Valley 21 goals 25, which is 151, and they lead Rovers 1 goal 8-14.
Leaders of blood continue to spill for the Demons as we head to the latter stages of this match here at Naaguja this afternoon. Mazzucchelli Oval is shining bright for Chapman Valley as they head to the game next week. As we've mentioned, it will be against Railways at Red Dust Holdings. They've played Railways twice this season and have been beaten on both occasions, but they'll be hoping to atone for that next week. But we will be off to Northampton to follow the fortunes of the Towns Footy Club, Glenn.
We will, and see Northampton again. Northampton unfortunately have lost their star player Brader Jupp. He was injured at Countrywood.
That's a big loss for them.
It is a big loss for them. So Northampton are also going through a rebuilding stage.
Yes.
But you've got to see there's some good players up there. Jamie Williams played well at Countrywick, so too did Gus Hebley. So it'll be good to see how they go. The ball comes out to Parfitt. Farron Parfitt gives it to Azevedo. Azevedo sets sail for home. And a good goal it was.
That's a nice
Clay
goal.
Azevedo gets the second goal of the afternoon. Well done to Clay Azevedo and Farron Parfitt. And a very nice goal. So Rovers get their second goal of the afternoon.
Goals like that, pretty special. Azevedo often shows glimpses of what he's capable of. And that certainly was that as he bursts out of the middle of the centre and nothing but eyes for the big sticks.
Yeah, good effort.
Was rewarded in the
Beautiful
end.
goal, and one of the better goals of the day. And looking at the Bambi scoreboard as we head into the dying stages of this last term and in the dying moments, and Rovers have kicked 2 goals, 8-20. They trail Chapman Valley 21-25, 151.
You could say that was Petrarca-esque, Glenn.
It was 130 points the margin, 131 points the margin in favour of Chapman Valley. As Rovers go forward again, they're still running the game out. Whistle on play. Player was held while not in possession, so the free kick will go the way
Will
of
Rovers
a Rovers
get
player.
another goal before the final siren?
Well, they could do. So Rovers have the ball on their half-forward line. Short pass. And there's the siren.
They may. This guy, if anyone's going to score, this guy is the man, Glenn.
It's Roland Drummond.
Yep, it's
And
Roland
he's
Drummond.
50 metres out, right on the boundary line. He's probably pretty tired, but he, as you say, he's a very clever player. And let's see how he goes. He's right on the boundary line,
about
kicking
45
towards
out.
the 7th. So he'll put it right up to the teeth of goals if he gets hold of it, and he usually can. So waiting on the kick from Roland Drummond. There goes the kick. It's a pretty good effort, but offline, and 1 point only, so not a bad effort. He just didn't have the accuracy. He certainly had the distance. And the scoreboard rolls over. Full time here at Mazzucchelli Oval for our round 12 clash of the Indigenous round for the Geraldton Sporting Aboriginal Corporation. And final scores. Chapman Valley 21-25, 151 have defeated Rovers 2 goals 9-21. And you're tuned to Radio Mama, your home of GNFL football.